6:30. All right, first thing on the agenda is minutes for November 20th.
I put that on there not knowing if you guys actually opened a meeting prior to special town meeting. I didn't know if you guys had a meeting or not.
We did open it up,
Okay,
and then all we didn't have any discussion, it was open and then closed at the end of the town meeting.
oh, okay, so you didn't actually talk about anything?
No.
Okay, then I'll put together a quick set of minutes for that.
Okay. And we'll move on to November 25th minutes.
If anything, there's no comments. I didn't have anything. Motion to accept is written.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none? In favor. Okay.
Now the fun part.
There he is.
I need this. Hearing
Tim.
time. I guess
We'll open the hearing at
Cool.
6:33.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi, Brice.
Dick, this is on the storm
Yes.
rules and regs.
Storm rules and regs.
I'll speak for myself, because of everything else that's been going on, I've had no time to spend any time reading it, so I'll defer. I have no comments at this time. I almost wanna say, can we continue to the 22nd and come up with a decision then? That's my opinion, but I'll let everybody else talk.
Anybody else has?
I mean, I did read it last night, just highlighted stuff possibly to ask questions about. And I'm not sure if, Maurice is gonna present anything or if we're just gonna bounce questions and see if we get answers.
Yeah, I didn't have a formal presentation prepared or anything. I mean, I can certainly provide just some context and background again. On just the requirements as it relates to the permit and compliance and kind of just the status of where we're currently at with discussions with EPA. And obviously there's that we've talked about how the town is a little bit behind in adopting the required regulatory requirements. And so and because of that, there was a letter that was issued by EPA and an agreement was come to that they would be adopted and in place by the end of December. So I know we've made some progress since I last attended the last meeting, in that the stormwater bylaw was passed at town meeting, which was great. And so this is kind of the counterpart to that. A lot of the meat of the requirements are within the stormwater rules and regulations. And this document very much aligns with, what's required under the permit. It doesn't go above and beyond what the permit requires in terms of compliance. And so, the intent by putting a lot of the bulk of this information is in the stormwater rules and regs is that it would easily give the town the option to be able to modify the rules and regs in the future, if needed, versus having to go back to town meeting. So, again, this complies with the MS4 permit, which is all about kind of water quality. And so the permit really, or the regulations really focus on construction and post-construction stormwater management and certain requirements when you're working on a project where there'll be more than an acre of disturbance. So those are the projects that would trigger kind of compliance with these rules and regulations.
I guess I'll just go through a couple things that I'm gonna just assume were interesting or important to discuss or ask questions about. On page 9, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but it talks about applicability. You know, and in section B, it references, you know, the regulations in effect if land's disturbed. And if you go look at the definition of disturbed land, I guess my question is, you know, the way it's worded, it doesn't talk about tree clearing. You know, it talks about removal of land, change in slope, earth fill, earth moving, earth removal. But if you clear trees, you're gonna create a change in how the stormwater works. You know, if a project hasn't started, but they do massive clearing,
Clearing, you're referring to
I guess it's
construction,
it's-
not actual, just taking trees down
guess
for
it's
forestry cut.
pre-construction, you know,
Reconstruction, okay.
but say they don't move any earth. Does this kick in? Would this be applicable to saying, hey, you gotta present a plan?
I would say if you're doing just forestry, that's classified as agriculture, and I would say offhand you wouldn't have to.
Okay. But yeah, it's just a first, pull the first one out, first question, you know, cause if, like, you know, there's probably times where they clear land first, sits forever, but say it creates a big water disturbance, you know, are people gonna go, you know, did anyone implicate this stormwater management or not? Obviously, it'd be greater than an acre of tree removal. But I'm not sure if, Joris, if you have any comments real quick about that one.
Yeah, I guess when you're talking about tree removal, are you saying they're removing the stumps associated and clearing and actually disturbing the earth as part of that process?
That's different, that's not
I guess,
agriculture.
yeah, I don't know that there would be two ways to look at it.
Yeah.
You know, I know trees obviously absorb water, vast amounts of water, so when they're all dead, obviously the water's,
But the
He's
roots
still-
are still
Okay.
there somewhat.
they may be alive, you're right,
Yeah,
yep,
and
sucking up
I'm
water.
surprised how
How much
growth.
grows back?
But your question was if the trees are cleared, then that's a different story? Or stumps are cleared, is that the idea?
Correct.
I guess I'm thinking if there's, if you're clearing stumps, you're disturbing kind of the land, and if there's, if that equals an acre of disturbance, then I do feel like that would be, that would be triggered under this permit.
Okay.
I mean, if you're clearing the land and creating a logging road, does that logging road then add to that area of impact?
Yes, I would say so.
If it, unless it's winter time, and usually that's where they're usually pushing a lot of logging to be done is in the winter time because of that factor.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's-
it takes a while to log, is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not,
Usually, I was on Ware River Watershed Advisory for a good many years, and I went to see many logging operations. And they tried to make anything that was close to any wetlands or any kind of swamps or things like that,
yeah.
could only be done in the wintertime, period, once the ground's frozen.
True.
But other than that, then
In the spring, you gotta put up siltation maybe, or fencing. or
siltation
something.
and also logs down if you wanna try to go over a water
Okay,
no.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And obviously DEP is involved, like, are they gonna,
DCR in
DCR.
all forestry contracts is always involved, along with Concom.
there's a plan, obviously, a plan of
Yeah.
action with that.
But when you're talking a subdivision, it's a whole different story.
I was gonna ask, that's, the way this applicability is written is basically development, so if somebody has 5 acres of land and they decide, like Keith has said, to clear an acre or two, does that trigger the stormwater management permit? That's, I guess, what I'm trying to figure out from what Keith's question was asked.
I mean, if they're disturbing, so if they're cutting the trees down and then pulling stumps out, presumably, yeah. I mean, if they're just cutting trees, then
If they just create an
then you're
open
just
space.
clearing, you're not, yeah.
I'm just trying to figure that out, because if they're not developing and they're just clearing the land, I don't know. Does that trigger it? That's what I'm
It
trying to
depends on the
figure out.
purpose.
Yeah,
Are they making a agricultural field?
No.
I mean,
Are
they
they,
could be.
are they putting grass down for a yard? I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
what I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out here is,
Yeah.
if somebody cleared, like, say they had 5 acres, they've got a house on it, and they wanna clear the other 4 to, I don't know, put a
Open up.
soccer field for the family, or something like that, is that considered triggering of the stormwater permit?
Well, so I was actually gonna ask about, in the section 6A, it talks about the applicant shall consult with the town planner and community development coordinator, I'm not sure who that is, but to obtain a determination as to whether they need a permit. So I assume there's some leeway, if they say, here's the plan that we're thinking of, they could say, oh, that actually does not qualify, it's not, you're not constructing anything, you're, or they might say, yeah, you're gonna tear all that up, we need to have a plan.
I'm just trying to figure out how the public would know that they need to come and get a permit, that's what I'm trying to get at.
I think if you're gonna disturb an acre or more, you need to talk about it. You need to come to the planner and the board to decide if you need a permit.
We need to really promote that with the town, cause there's a lot of big pieces of parcel in town, and I'm guessing people have no clue that they would need to do this.
My wonder is your neighbor, say you do have a neighbor and they got a house close to, and you do that clearing and then water's going everywhere. It doesn't have a direction, it doesn't have a drainage plan.
Yeah,
Is someone gonna say, hey, obviously post haste, you're gonna hopefully come in and say, here's what you gotta get us one of these, or.
Well, when they do it, the logging, they have to, submit it
Like you
to
said, yeah, that gets,
DCR and Concom.
and I guess it would be up to them, Dick, then
It
too?
would be up to them,
To
if there's
appoint them.
wetlands on there and things like that, they have to step in.
yeah,
And they're the ones that are gonna put the restrictions on
where you can cut, where you
Yeah.
can't, or how close you can go.
exec.
And then that, they would send them to us for the permitting process, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I'm good with that.
It's a big, large document. I mean, I think the lawyers highlighted a bunch of time deadlines. I mean, they seemed fine.
Keith, I had one over on 11 that
Yeah.
Yeah,
was,
that,
there were,
Nice.
no,
Oh.
it was 3 years for the permit to be active.
Right.
And then on H, number 2, it said they can get an extension not to exceed a year. Can they get multiple extensions, or is it just one extension for a year, making a total of 4 years? That's where one of the things I wasn't sure of, based on this document.
it says shall not exceed 1 year. So
Yeah.
I think
I'm just trying to figure out, because sometimes construction of a area is more than 3 or 4 years.
I mean, it does say only, oh wait, sorry, that's the extension.
Yeah,
No,
it
no, it
says
says only
extension.
one such extension may be granted by the board in number 3.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking, does that make sense to this board that they're just given one extension?
These rules can be changed by this board at any time.
Okay,
So you don't have to make that decision right now.
okay.
What is important with the DEP in the town is that we need to adopt these rules and have them adopted before the end of the year. After that, we can amend them at any time. This board can amend these rules at any time because that's part of the bylaw. But the important thing is that we adopt these stormwater rules and regulations.
And that was my next question, Chris. The bylaws the town's gotta vote on, they voted, said yes.
Yes.
Are these rules and regs like a policy that we don't have to go, we can have a hearing or something like that, we don't have to go back through the town to get them changed?
Absolutely.
Okay,
This
perfect.
board
I'm
has
good
the
with
power
that.
to change these rules.
Then I'm good, that takes a whole lot of my questions away.
But if we do have questions or things we wanna change now, we have time to do that and then still vote to approve them before the end of the year. Like, we don't have to punt it if we have things we wanna change. We have time to.
We got one more meeting.
You got one more meeting.
No, yeah, no, well, no, I'm just saying,
Well, yeah.
it's not like we have to say yes right now, or else it won't, I mean, I understand, we have to approve them by the end of the year. But, I have some questions, like, they have to give us 5 days notice before like a drain change, and we have to decide if it's significant. It's just some of the timelines seem a little,
Sense.
just, I'm
Some
not
of these rules,
familiar
you
enough
might
with.
find that, okay, the way it's written, it doesn't really work for the town the way it is, so we need to adapt it.
Yeah.
That's all. But you
Yeah.
might not know that until you
Right,
be deep in it, you know?
Yeah.
Early on page 11, I did have a question about as-built. It does mention later that you have to provide as-built.
In like 2 years.
yeah.
Was it? Okay. Well, I mean, at least it was in there. But
Yeah, that is a specific requirement of the permit. That's,
Okay.
that language is because I think that's been a concern where, project ends and then you never see as-built for the project. And so, so EPA put that timeline of within 2 years of project, completion.
I guess, not to run this one, but forever. With plans and changes and extensions, there definitely seems to be changes that happen a lot. Sometimes you're notified later, or your engineer is the one who notifies you. I just don't see any fines for playing around with it, doing what you want with it, ignoring this document. Should there be fines outlined in some way? Because there really isn't, so I don't know what enforceability you have if you don't have really anything. You have fees, that's it, and that just
And
says you paid for a fee.
Along similar lines, I wanted to ask, on page 17, it talks about a surety being released, but that's the first time that's brought up, so I'm not sure, like, how is that determined? When is that determined? What's the surety? I mean, it sounds similar to, like the bonds that we hold, but I'm assuming it's separate and specific to the stormwater management, or is it part of the overall approval process? That's the first, on page 17 is the first time that word appears. I'm just trying to figure out, like, when is that collected? Who's holding that? How do you determine how much that is? Is it defined somewhere that I missed?
I'm just sorry, and I have the the document open up on my computer too, so I was just kind of taking a peek at where that was included.
Section 10B1
Okay.
in the as-built plans and file inspection.
So, I don't know why these aren't, because I think it's part of, it's talked about in the bylaw for the first time.
Okay.
That the planning board may require the permittee to post a surety bond before the start. So may require, it seems like it's at the discretion of the planning board.
Okay. So it's in the bylaw, it's just not
It's not
discussed
jail.
earlier in the rules.
Right, exactly, yeah. It's
Okay.
introduced it for.
I was not reading them together,
It's
sorry.
may and not shall.
Okay,
Where does it say that?
somewhere in the bylaw.
Well, which part is may and which part is shall? You
Well,
say?
no, I'm saying if it says may,
It says may, it's open to interpretation, is what you're
Correct.
saying. Yeah,
shall, you have to, period.
okay, so we should,
So leave it may,
yeah,
leave it may.
okay.
So in,
Yeah, if you could, it's not on this, you're talking about the bylaw, not the regs, I think is what you're saying.
yes, the bylaw says that we may
What a
require a
horse.
surety. Okay,
Are you ready to settle this horse?
Well, that's
and
why I'm
ride
reading it. No.
Because I tell you,
Well, we gotta figure out who's gonna, if we create a commission, a board,
Well, no, what we did, I thought I
Maybe I
made this, is that part of the budget that Norm had asked me to do to get to the TA was a part-time assistant that was gonna help, because this is gonna be a major task for the planning board and or the new planner, so we put in our budget a part-time assistant to help with these permitting processes. So that was my intent when I put that together. Whether it goes through, I don't know, but we put it in there for that. Cause we figured that person would be partially funded from these fees.
Yeah.
So that'll have to be discussed.
Yeah, that's
later
another,
down the road.
but,
There are thoughts on how to handle that.
Yep.
Through stormwater related staff already.
we just didn't have a plan when we put it together, so
Right.
that can be
Nope.
talked about as down the
Yep.
road. But to answer your question, Keith, that was the intent when I talked with Norm, was that
Yeah, we've,
the planner shouldn't, I mean, it's gonna be enough to be able to handle planning and economic development, so an assistant or something along that lines for this specific task should be handled. And, you know, maybe there's part of the stormwater administration fees that help with that, I don't know. But I looked at the cost of those, permits, and that could easily be justified to have a part-time person from some of those fees that were put into that specific account, so. That's
Yeah.
why I was thinking of handling that, and of course, if there's any questions that come up on this, that would be the planner, and then the DPW director would be that discussions.
and I know they mentioned an agent, you know, or a board, is that who you're meant?
No, the agent, if there was any engineering questions, I would presume our,
Yeah. Building
whoever our
inspector or,
engineering reviewer would be handling that. I wouldn't expect to have,
a
the
town,
inspector
gotta chase all this down.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, I'm
Okay,
just,
no, like Kevin, you're saying.
yeah,
essentially.
somebody
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
handle that, and again, that would be in conjunction with, stormwater, which, Chris, you handle all that, so, and his team would handle that, so that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I've sort of backed up and did the 30,000 feet, yeah, there's some things that are questionable here, but I think overall we could move to at least get it adopted, maybe not this meeting, but the next one, cause there's few questions, but I don't think there's,
Well, the next one, we don't really have a
Showstoppers.
choice.
yeah, it's gotta be adopted on the 22nd meeting.
Right.
But, I mean, I mean, again, when I read this a month ago, when 2 months ago when Dealey gave it to us, there wasn't any showstoppers, and I talked to Chris some questions, and he'd answered all my questions, so, on the bylaw on this. So, I mean,
I guess, Joyce, if you could, real quick, just
Yep.
like the fines I brought up, you know, what's obviously, there's a servability section at the end, but, I mean, there is no fine schedule, how does this really, get
Where are the
enforced?
teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can always
Did
ask,
you stop work orders?
you know, you get a permit, you know, does DEP or DCR fine if changes are made
this is
that they
local.
don't like? Well, it's, okay, so, yep, so it's local. I mean,
Yeah, it's all local.
if we have no schedule for that, or a table, are we losing out if someone, takes us for a ride or anything like that? Should we implement something soon?
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly provide some information on that as well
Okay.
and advise you if you want to include, have a separate reference document for like a fee schedule for fines, you're saying, separately from what's in the actual rules and regs document?
Yeah, something to go along with this, cause I know every time we've ever wanted to talk about fees or fines, it's always, is it in the town, is it a town document? And if it isn't, then there's no enforceability.
Well, this fee
To the
schedule,
inspector.
fee schedule would cover, but to your point,
Yeah.
a question I've got is, if somebody were doing something on their property, the typical thing would be a cease and desist. Is that through the building inspector, or does that come from for this portion, for the stormwater management, does that come through the DPW? That's where I'm struggling with what action happens. Is that something other towns have dealt with?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely come up, and I feel like that's been a challenge as to who would take the lead on that authority. And a lot of times I feel like the building inspector does come up in conversation, but it's a little bit of a gray area whether or not that would, you know, kind of that's the appropriate role for that, you know? But I think, yeah, I mean, in general, we have to designate, I guess, someone. And I think they're currently, the way that it's currently written, I'm just trying to go back into the document.
Okay, yes.
If you don't mind, ma'am, nowhere in the building code, I can only go by the building code and the zoning code, okay? I understand this is some sort of a zoning ordinance or whatever, but whoever's gonna be doing this, I have a feeling it should be the conservation, because it's water. I have nothing to do with water, okay? I get my plans signed off by you guys for the lot. I got 10 other inspections to do on this, and 10 other things to look at. I don't think I'm gonna be there whipping boy on this one, to be honest.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to find out, because
Thank you
typically,
very much, I appreciate it. My name's always mentioned in this room. I just wanna make sure everybody knows I am the building inspector, the mystery person. Thank you very much.
How you doing? Yeah. I think
because
that's what's
typically
complicated.
on our document that we have in town, there's an enforcement agent associated with certain sections, bylaws, such like that.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to get to, is the enforcement agent, the DPW director, is it the planning board, is it the conservation commission? Who's that enforcement agent? That's what I was trying to get at.
It's-
And I
it's
didn't see it
us.
in
It is
here.
written as the planning board right now, yeah.
We're the enforcement agent.
Take care.
And/or our employees or agents designated to enforce it.
That was a cease,
A board almost.
cease work order, or do we, what was that enforcement action that we had though? Cause it wasn't fines.
I mean, my understanding of the way it's written is that if something is ongoing and there are issues, there could be stop work orders issued. There's also the surety, using that money to fix something if they don't or
So
refuse
this,
to.
this stop work order though, that comes through the building? Oh, okay, so
Yeah, it doesn't go through the building.
we can do that on our own.
I mean, because the work is not, presumably the work is not building at that point. The
Right.
work is ripping stuff up.
Right, right.
It doesn't say, it just says a stop work order shall be issued.
I believe these rules and regs in the bylaw puts the planning board in charge of
We can
whoever they
designate.
designate
Yeah.
to do it. The way it's written, this is part of the planning board's responsibility.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it would be,
Henceforth, why I'm keeping my mouth shut, because there should be only one person, period, in town, and that's the DPW. 200,
Well,
25 years, or whatever it is, we've been here. Mother Nature takes care of herself no matter what.
well,
well,
I
it
don't know
does
if
give
that's
us,
true.
this administration gives the board to designate, so
Right.
that's why I like that, section 4B, because it allows the planning board to designate who wants to be the enforcement agent, so I'm fine with that.
I
Just
think
have to find
that,
someone who will accept it.
isn't that us? That's us though, the enforcement agent.
Well, it
No,
says
we can
the,
Or
designate.
designate.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
designate a town board, commission, or department employee thereof, a consultant as authorized agent or designee for purpose of site inspections and stormwater management, erosion,
Are we
It's
allowed
like-
to do it ourselves? Cause it doesn't sound like anybody wants that responsibility.
Hire somebody.
yeah, yeah.
Hire
With
an
what
engineer to
funds?
do all your
Kevin,
inspections.
essentially Kevin, if he's
Well,
not,
that can be discussed when we get a planner too. Right now, we don't even have a planner to talk about this with.
yeah.
So we need to, I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, the planner and the DPW director should be discussing with the board on how we're gonna execute this, cause there's really not a plan in place right now, it's my opinion.
You know, and there's a lot of inspections in here, there's a whole section of it, says at least once every 7 calendar days and within 24 hours of the end of a storm event with half an inch or greater.
Jesus Christ.
You know, you gotta go out there and take a look and see if it
Permit
worked.
fees are, they cover, part of what they cover is
Yeah,
inspections, hiring an
Okay.
engineer to come in and do the inspection.
All right. yeah,
That was one of the questions I had at our last meeting. Do you have some of the forms, cause all we've got in here is basically application and review.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
forms for
forms
like
for inspection.
inspections that are required and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can definitely provide those, yeah.
That's
And it's one of those things where maybe some of the inspections would be done by municipal staff, or like you said, if you hired an outside firm, to perform a peer review, sometimes they're hired to do all of the inspections as well, depending on the complexity of, maybe the project or just staff limitations, so I think there's, flexibility within that.
Okay.
You know, on page 16, at least it has some stuff that talks about inadequacy of stormwater management system and erosion sediment control plan, so sort of section 2, under that, under C at the bottom of the page, it gives you the ability, if you can physically tell it's not working, you can go in and request changes to make that, to make it work better. It's just, I just wonder sometimes how quickly anyone's gonna jump on it. And, you know, obviously Concom gets involved if stuff starts spilling out into different areas, you know, and,
Just like they did this past,
yeah, hopefully we can get them involved anytime there's stuff like that
storm
going
that
on.
we had, or 500-year storm.
Yeah.
So do we wanna keep talking, or do we wanna continue this and come up with a final decision next?
Can I just ask, what does the board need between now and your next meeting to feel comfortable? Because we'll be in a position at the next meeting that you have to adopt this, so for the staff's perspective, and maybe Jerice, what does the board need to feel comfortable with making that decision?
Me personally, I'd want all these forms so I have a complete package, so if somebody comes in January 1st, we've got a complete package in front of us. Because right now, all we've got is a January 1st, they show up and they can do a permit application, and then what do we do from there?
Yeah, it's just
That's, I
ready to
mean,
roll.
honestly, I'm with Chris on this. If we had a form package, just to get this rolling, I could adopt this right now, once we get the form package.
Do we need the forms before we adopt it?
Well, the thing is, Tim,
It's not like
do
we
an
can
inspection,
change
you have
it
to,
now.
whoever's gonna do the inspection is gonna be trained for it, first of all. So
That's true.
if nobody's trained, it doesn't do you any good to have an inspection thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
You don't know how to go do the inspections anyway. That's why the fees cover hiring a professional stormwater inspector to go in and perform these inspections.
Okay. I could back off and say, adopt what we got now. And let's, if we, like Chris said, if we need to change this in the future, we have that ability at any meeting we want. At least let's get it on the books.
I'm good with that.
My only quick comment for Jerice would be, there's no abandonment. I've seen a lot of bylaws, list out abandonment. Do you have any comment to people who just stop working on a project? You know, I guess a permit would lapse possibly. Do you have any comment?
Oh, you mean just a contract, they might just kind of walk away from the project completely and,
Well, yeah, it's not in here to address abandonment. I know a lot of bylaws do.
okay.
Just wasn't sure if you had a comment or anything.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in the stormwater bylaw per se that we've seen and we worked on for various communities, but I can certainly look into that if you think it's something that should be, potentially incorporated.
And we could always add that in the future too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we could let Mother Nature take care of it.
If they've started the project,
Yeah.
and they've already gone through the stormwater permitting stuff,
Which is that,
Is this,
and that's all done. If they don't finish the project,
it's already in place because it happens
it's already
early.
in place.
Okay,
though.
because it
So
happens
If
early.
they've abandoned the project,
Okay,
if somebody picks it up, they gotta take over everything, but
I mean,
they're not even starting the
Unless you
project
want it,
until they
yeah.
get through this process.
all right, yeah,
Can I make one comment?
clarification.
Please.
Yes. Okay, so we have our stormwater management at a point. Okay, at a point that you guys are close enough to say, okay, we can start building houses. The only problem with that is when the house starts, it's not gonna stop. That is not enough estoppel to stop what we're gonna be doing. Nowhere in the building code does it say, I have to stop that. In fact, stop work order only says for anything in this code. So I'd like to hear from the attorney if she wouldn't mind. So you're saying that there could be some sort of a re-inspection, a final inspection at 2 years, up to 2 years with 3 years, with one extension, possibility of 2. So what's gonna stop someone from, okay, I cleared this land, I have all this done so far. This is upland over here, I'm still gonna clear that, but I wanna start building my houses so I can finance that over there. Now they do this wrong. So how are you guys going to send something to me through your planning portal, and I know we need a planner, through your planning portal, saying, hey, we're all set for this? Because as soon as it says it's all set, I have 30 days by law to give this permit. I can't willy-nilly say, I saw 2 shrubs or anything like that. And and as Chris was saying, I appreciate that, Chris, by the way, I don't have the ability, I do not have the engineering background to do a wetland scientist. And that's what you're gonna be hiring, a wetland scientist. Now, how are we going to know the difference between a forest cutting plan, which we have, which we do remove stumps and all that, and we try to bring the property back to the actual slope? Because I do believe this is slopes. I don't think it's a motion from a tree. I think it's slopes, and that we don't want the water from coming here over to here, which we might be a little familiar with. So that's what I want to make sure that, when this is all said and done, I'd be glad to be at your next meeting, or when you're changing some of this. Because I think this right here, as the attorney was saying, I have a feeling this is just the skeletal part of it, and you're gonna fill everything in, take things out, put things in, whatever, as long as it's within the DCR, EPA, and I do believe this is falling under CMR 310 also. So when that happens, I'd like to be here just to make sure we understand that, hey, I'm not gonna, when you say these lots are A&R, or if the subdivision's been done whatever, and you're looking back 2 years, and there's only 4 houses there, there's nothing in the building code saying I can stop anything. So just make sure we know what stage we're gonna be doing this stormwater management, because I have a feeling that we're gonna get a 50-acre parcel, and might already have a 50-acre parcel that I'm dealing with right now, and they're gonna clear it, but they're not gonna do everything, because they say, I'm sorry, we don't have enough money. This happens all the time. I've been doing this for 20-some years.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. So they'll use that house to progress. So if those 2 houses or 3 houses there, and you're all set with that part, and all of a sudden we cut here and we start getting water down, we're gonna have the same issue we're having at other places in town. Especially if we have another rain. It was 14 weekends, or 14 weeks of rain. It was 500 year, everybody's complaining about water. So, going to my house, I live on a mountain, and it was wet up there. So anyway, I just wanna make sure that I'd be more than happy to sit there and maybe have some sort of
please.
rap session with you to make sure that you're gonna be conducive with the building code, with the highway department, and with the new planner, and very possibly with conservation.
Yeah.
And anyone else that's involved. Okay?
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, if it is 50 acres, they should be required to give us a plan for 50 acres. So when they do cut, I mean, you gotta say, where are you gonna cut first? What's the most, I mean, it could be up to someone to say, I mean, what ability do you have to say where to start, where these guys could start? Unless you just tell them, you gotta put all of this drainage in regardless of what you're working on first. Cause we know you're gonna put houses up high, we know you're putting houses down low. I mean, does any of this really send us down that road? Probably.
I think the permitting, when we come to the permitting, actually doing a permit, I think
Conditions.
team discussion, it's not the planning board only.
Okay.
We would involve Harold, we'd involve Chris, and maybe even the Conservation Commission.
On the draft that we're gonna be changing, because obviously, as Chris is saying, obviously, we're against the gun right here.
Yep.
You need to either approve or disapprove. I like when the state says you have to approve, but you have to do it by way of town meeting. Wait a minute, then you're, just make us do it. I worked for the state for 20 years. I
Yeah,
understand
no,
exactly what it is.
unfunded mandate, is it what it is?
So I'd be more than happy to be involved in that.
Please, yeah.
At least so we know what we're looking at, because that's where I'm concerned. We have some heavy hitter builders in this town. There's more than one. There's a lot of them.
Yep.
And, they already have it's like their retirement plan. They have these 50, 60 acres of stuff just sitting there. We understand what's going on. So and that's what we're gonna have to figure out. I don't know if you're gonna be able to find a builder coming in here and clearing 50 acres of it, and put all your drainage, hundreds of thousands, maybe billions of dollars. And then you can start building houses. I think you're gonna see the incremental. You're gonna have the houses built here, here, and here, phase 1. Phase 2, maybe have an engineer or whatever say, hey, phase 1 is not gonna bother phase 2, or vice versa. But what I'm concerned about is what we just went through. I had a lot of people in my office. The what I'm worried about is, we call it accretion. Accretion is water going from one property to another. And what I'm worried about is when we have all these houses done here, we're gonna have an issue over here. And it's just, and again, with your acting chair right now, I've always believed in let nature do what nature does, because she's been doing it forever. She knows what she's doing.
Everything flows downhill.
That's it. Everything.
Everything.
And that's all I got for you.
Okay, great, appreciate it. It's
All right.
good direction to go.
Does, excuse me, anybody in the audience here have anything else to say before we close this hearing?
I wouldn't close it,
Continue it?
continue it, or vote on it, one of the two.
Or
I think you wanted copies of
You know,
Yeah.
Chris is,
you know it's coming.
Chris has convinced me that,
Thanks, Chris.
we really need to move forward with this and we could, get that added in down the road. I don't think it's a showstopper, I really don't.
Okay. Do we make them, or do we still get time with Joris if we close and approve the document?
Oh,
I guess is the
don't
question.
think she's gonna go away, I think we
Okay.
can still.
Yeah.
Right, Therese,
No, we can
still-
absolutely, we'll start preparing draft forms for you, absolutely, we'll start on that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have a problem, and before I make it, the motion to accept,
You have to close the hearing first.
well, no, I'm just asking, this is discussion, I
Oh,
don't wanna
I'm
make any
sorry,
motion, I'm
okay.
just asking the
Yeah.
board, if sort of a straw vote, is this, do we wanna move forward with the motion, do we wanna continue it? I mean, I'm ready to make a motion myself.
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of pointless to keep kicking the can. You're
Yeah.
just pushing it off to the next meeting to have to do it then.
Yeah.
Whatever issues we have, we can change. We've been told that we can make changes. I think it's best to check this box.
Got Norm out there, let's ask him, too.
I would say the best thing would be just adopt it and take the time that we need, particularly after the holidays, and really go through this thing with whatever help we can get.
I think it's a good plan. I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 There we go, no.
Oh, hey, since Norm's remote, Dick, we gotta do roll calls. I think that's correct.
Oh, yes, roll call.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Do it again. So Keith, aye.
Alex, aye.
Tim, aye.
Norm,
Norm,
You said aye.
you did say aye, and I say aye.
5-0.
Five,
Then,
okay.
I'll make a motion to adopt the stormwater management rules and regulations to be associated with the bylaw as presented.
Second.
So we close the public hearing at 7:14. Say that again, excuse me.
Oh, I'll make a motion to adopt the Rutland stormwater management rules and regulations as presented.
Can we hear a second?
Second. Keith, second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
You
Keith,
gotta do
aye.
roll call.
Alex, aye.
Oh, okay,
Noel,
Alex,
aye.
Norm, aye.
Dick, aye. Passed. All right.
Because
Also
we've
on the
got,
list.
Dick, since we've got Chris on a limited time
I don't
schedule.
want, there it goes.
I'm watching the clock too. I think we should, move to item 5, which is the streets, because that's what he's really here for, and also this too, but if we got questions about,
I know that one's gonna take a while, and Amy Evanowski's on a time crunch as well, that's why we had put her at the beginning of the agenda. For Karen Way, the next item.
It's probably quick.
all right?
All right, then we'll move on to Karen Way. I had a little discussion in here, Amy, about Karen Way, and we'd like to maybe postpone this so that we can get into our records. Norm, I don't remember how, it was some time ago that they passed on this development, and I don't know where it went, and I thought that DCR stepped in also and did something with this development. I want a little bit more information on it, because I don't want to leave people that own the property all of a sudden lose their right of way or you know, their abutting property or whatever, a chance to make $1 on it or whatever and sue the town. I just want to find all the answers here first before we say no more for Karen Way. What were you planning on doing? Just turning it over to a different name? Or
Oh.
Can't hear you.
You're on mute.
I'm muted.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Try again.
We hear you, but it's crunchy.
A little bit, but it's not your fault, Amy. It's on our side.
We can't hear words
No.
she's saying. God.
Oh, no.
I think she said it's okay to put it on the next agenda. Is that what you said, Amy? You broke up a little bit.
Okay,
Okay.
let's move it to the next agenda then.
We'll move it to the next agenda. Thank you,
Can I ask one question?
please.
Are all the houses shown on this, are they actually built? Because it seemed like on GIS, there weren't
Not even close.
house.
No.
It seemed like 4 maybe on that road.
I think, Keith, these were all, if somebody can
There's-
correct
There
me.
is, I think there is 4 to 5 houses that are on that road, and that's it.
And basically where the black is, those were, and somebody tell me if I'm wrong, those were basically taken in tax title and then, I don't wanna use the word auction, but that's basically what they were sold off, if I'm not mistaken. She's nodding, okay, I'm right.
Okay.
So if those roads were discontinued, since they're at the center of the road, it would collapse and the properties would get that part of the road as part of their property.
They
Right,
owned
Karen? Right, Amy, on Karen Way? Okay, the nodding's good.
So they own to the center line.
They would own to the center line.
If it goes private, that's the idea too. I know it's further discussion, but.
Well,
Yeah,
That
but
is
can
already
the
in
town
play.
be held liable for no access?
It was never a road.
yeah,
They have access. Drive down Edith Lane right to Karen Way.
I want,
But-
Edith Lane is an accepted town road down to a certain spot. And then Karen Way ties into it. Karen Way has never been accepted. The
no,
house is built on it, but it's never been accepted.
so it's lot 23 and 24 are basically on a private, 23 and 24 that I think are built. Right at the edge of Edith and.
Isn't there about 4 houses there?
These
Oh,
houses are built right here.
Okay.
These, one here, and these 3. There's nothing down here. All those lots have been sold to the.
And we're talking, Chris, and Amy, the dark section is what we're talking about collapsing, correct?
Everything is dark. What
Karen
goes
Way
down to
would-
the bottom, that's the DCR sewer.
Okay, but Karen Way would exist up to Edith, but it would stop there?
That's where it stops now.
Okay,
It's
'cause
only
that's
a little
accepted
piece
now.
of it.
Right.
Okay, I'm good with
But
that
it's
then.
private. It's never been accepted. That
Karen
it's
Way's
paved
never-
and everything, but Karen Way has never been accepted by the town.
Alright, so Edith and Prescott are accepted, but Karen Way, that little section is private as far as, okay, alright, good.
it looks like it ends into someone's yard or a tree line. Like the road doesn't actually connect to Edith the way. But they're hoping, obviously.
They get town council last
I mean, someone owns it, but they're just not, no one's doing anything with it. Is that the idea? It's just-
Well, it was all part of that subdivision.
The
Yeah.
and that
subdivision
was taken.
originally.
There
I
are
believe the
limits,
town
guys.
auctioned those.
There are
sold
limits
those.
to what you guys can do when you rescind a subdivision. And the property's been either conveyed or mortgaged. You're not allowed to rescind without their assent. Not responsible necessarily to build it, which is what we talked about earlier. But as far as rescission without the assents of owners, that's all governed by 81
MGL.
yeah, MGL chapter 4181 W, I think. So
If the road hasn't been built, we can collapse the road and then the properties are,
now if the property's been sold off it, so you gotta take a look at that, guys. Are you looking to rescind that portion of the subdivision? I think that's what it is.
It almost sounds what she's trying to do. We can't hear you, so.
I don't know why. Can you hear me now?
Not very well, Amy, it's not your fault, Cable's trying to fix it on our end.
Can you hear me? I will send an email with what somebody had sent to me, asking me to just make the GIS correct. That's all we're looking to do is make the GIS correct because it shows the road going.
Well, I think that,
Sort of a cul-de-sac.
You should go to town council and find out how to deal with this.
yeah.
There's a public hearing process, notice to all the butters. I don't know if this thing was noticed, is that what this was this noticed?
No,
Okay. Notice to all the butters, all mortgagees, all people holding mortgages and fee interest have to be notified.
Yeah.
It's a process.
yeah,
You can do it, but there's a process.
there's a process. So it's something for the future, a future meeting that we should,
we need to have KP on the next meeting is what we need to have and also send them.
no, we're gonna have KP, if you're gonna do this, I suggest a norm that have KP here,
All right.
because we don't want
Fine with that.
to end up and not be able to understand them or hear them and whatever. But I feel that we should go through this, Norm, and find out all the details.
We definitely need, all the advice, from KP Law on this. Because I am sure we simply cannot do this by a simple vote. I'm sure it's gonna be a significant process.
Yeah,
So let's move it to the next meeting.
It's unlikely we'll hear back from town council before then, so we'll probably have to push this to a January meeting.
I think I like Dick's suggestion. They can look it over, but we'd like them here live in concert to talk about it.
Just as long as you understand there'll be a much greater expense for that.
wait a minute, when they first came on, they kept on saying how happy they would be to come out and see us all the time. Is that why? Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, and honestly, December 22nd, asking somebody to holiday season, I agree with Tamika. We should put this on for our first or second January meeting.
Any
I think
comments?
Amy's nodding yes.
Yeah, okay, good. All right,
Excellent.
that's what we'll do,
All right.
please.
Now,
If we have them on Zoom and there's connection issues, are we on the hook for the time that they're on the Zoom?
I'm sure.
yeah,
Okay.
yep, we're on the hook. That's why I have them live. I'd rather pay for them to be here live in action.
Yeah.
So I don't lose that option. So now I'll ask to go to 5.
All right, thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
All right. Street acceptance request. Make recommendation on Arrowhead Way, Pioneer Circle, Woodside Ave. And
We had Dick the 7 requirements from the select board that they wanted part of their request.
Are you able to read those aloud? The 7 requirements?
These were, they should be a public document that were out.
They're included in the planning board packet published on the website.
Yeah, they're on our website. I mean, I can go through them. Want me to read these off as?
please.
All right,
Tim, would you, not to interrupt you, we can ask
Oh.
Kate if they can just pull it up on the screen.
that would be good, because then we can see it on the screen.
I have the agenda, I just wanted the whole packet, sorry.
Yep, so if you go to the planning board page, there's a button at the top that says, planning board meeting packets. Yes, if you click on that, the entire packet, it starts with the agenda, but if you keep scrolling, it's the entire meeting packet.
You guys, yeah.
It's like 33 pages long or
For some
so.
reason I couldn't get to that packet.
There's a list of like every packet in there, so you gotta, it's probably at the bottom, you know, cause it'll be
seven
every
or
date.
six?
But,
There were six, I apologize, there were six.
Okay, all right.
I was adding a seventh one for approval.
And we have draft memos covering all of these items too from Tamika, which is really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, I
It's okay.
apologize.
I read them a little bit
I
and I
have copies
printed
of
out
a couple of them. I didn't print all of them because like the tree ones, some of them were kind of duplicates, but if you wanna look at any of those, you're welcome to.
Yeah, we'll just leave them out, just in case something, conversation comes up.
I mean, actually for 1 and 2, for the trees, I thought about this long and hard, and this whole 5 here, 10 here, this is my thought. And Dick actually helped me make it past in the last meeting. Whatever the tree count is, if residents don't want them in their property, I'm fine with that. And if that comes out to be 12 trees or 15 trees, then plant them in open space. Put them in open space, but put the number of trees in the area. I'm just not, that's my opinion, is
Yeah.
just plant them in open space, just to get them in.
May I speak?
Yes, please.
Some subdivisions don't have open space, Tim.
Well, I'm just thinking about Woodside and Pioneer Circle and Arrowhead.
Oh, for
Just for-
Arrowhead doesn't have open space, but Pioneer and Woodside do. What I would recommend is either change the rule for good. On this one, I mean, I'll just go in and I'll put a tree every 50 feet. And I'll put it in the easement. Cause customers have the right to tell you that you can't plant the tree in. I mean, I said this before. I mean, I tried planting trees on guys' property, calling the cops on me. You know, they don't want you digging holes in their front yard, you know what I mean? So if I
Worse,
gotta.
they cut them down. You know, I mean, the next, you know, you put them in, they cut them down.
Remember, I heard that
Yeah,
before.
one guy threatened to shoot us. I mean, the thing is, if I just put them in the easement, I'll just put them in. I said that, I mean, it's just as easy for me to plant them. It's just that where we were putting them on the people's property, we had to ask their permission. If they say, no, we can't do it. So if we just put them in the easement, they're gonna eventually, when they get bigger, they're gonna come up through the sidewalk. I mean, they're gonna.
You have some small.
Can I provide a comment?
Yeah,
I just
and if I
want-
can,
Oh.
I apologize.
I just want you guys to consider the fact that the select board has not agreed to a roadway going through because of trees. And I need you to understand how absolutely infuriating that is. As a citizen, I have lived there for 4 years. I have now been to all of these meetings. I have run around to get, signatures for citizens' requests. Like, it is crazy, and they totally dug and dug and dug to find a reason to not pass these roads through. And this is what they grabbed to come up with. And I just to Clee's point, it just feels like such a stretch. And I completely understand, we do need to do good for our environment and all these beautification and things like that. But, as somebody I declined the trees.
I declined a tree as well.
Yeah, so it just feels crazy that I've spent the last 2 months now and the next month worrying about my family's safety and where my property taxes are going over 10 trees needing to be planted.
Well,
Well, it's way more than 10.
Yeah, it's like 60
Yeah.
They
trees.
need to identify
Yeah,
themselves and speak
Oh,
individually.
I'm sorry. Emma Foster, One Pioneer Circle.
I just was trying to make this simplistic because I know at the end of Arrowhead, there's the non-areas right at the entrance of, we could put trees there.
Other end.
You can put trees on open space in Brice Lemon. I just wanna get trees in because I don't want this to be a freaking issue where we're worrying about 3 trees here, 4 trees here, 32 trees, put them in. If they don't want them,
Chasing
then put them in the open space. I don't care if you put 12 trees in open space, we got trees.
Then something also needs to change going forward with our rules and regulations, because this happens with every single subdevelopment. And I don't know if somebody can't count or what the deal is, but every time it's, we couldn't actually fit them in or what have you.
I agree, but I'm trying to get to a point where we can get past this for these 3 roads. Alex, I
understand
agree,
that,
part of the
yeah.
subdivision rules and regs need to be reviewed and definitely need to be discussed, because this is the 3rd or 4th subdivision in the last 5 to 7 years this we've run into, and it's getting old. So we've gotta fix this. But to get past this, to Emma's point,
Yeah.
is that instead of trying to play financier with $100 or $200, put them in the open space for the Brice Lemon open space area. And at the end of Arrowhead, if I'm not mistaken, there's strips there before it goes, not comes in, but when it goes
The
out.
driveway used to go down.
Yes, you can put trees there, put them there, make it beautiful, I'm good with that, and then at least we've got some environmental trees in, we've met the quota that said we're gonna meet, and we don't need to worry about waivers, we don't need to worry about, we're owed $500 or $1,000, whatever it is, they're just getting put in. And that's the agreement we have with the developer.
But right now, you can't throw a tree in the ground, so how do we ensure that those trees are going to go in the ground come the spring?
That is the written agreement that Tamika put together for the dollar sign, but there's no reason we can't have a written agreement saying that by May 31st, all trees will be planted in open space and or at the end of Arrowhead.
Yeah.
That the residents don't want.
Tim, it's in the bond. Dick, I'm
Well,
sorry.
yeah.
They're in the bond. They're already bonded. If I don't put them in, you take the money. Period. It's
just
already
would-
bonded. So the point is, I'm happy to, but why don't you just put a deadline on it? Say May, the end of May, they gotta be planted. Done.
And I don't have a problem making that as a field adjustment to the conditions of the subdivision.
With what type of enforcement?
The bond. The
Bond.
bond.
Bond?
Yeah.
It's bonded.
It's bond, yeah.
Keep them.
No, that's a good way to do it. With the bond.
And to adhere to what the select board asked for, I guess with that date and that addition to it, I'd ask the developer to give a signed document like Tamika put together for the $100 and $200. So we've got a document, we've got it signed. We've amended the order of, or the conditions, I keep saying order conditions,
Yeah.
that's the con. The conditions,
Yeah.
that all trees will go in and they'll be in by May 31st. I'm throwing a date out there, the board can figure May 31st of 2026.
Just gonna comment real quick. Bond, we get $500 a tree on Whale Run, Brice, Brintnal Estates.
Damn it, I lost him. I needed him to.
Just something to point out, which is, hey, it's more money, I'm not saying it matters, but, at least there's a buffer that's greater than 100 if something like this happens where, Kevin goes out and doesn't count them. I mean, obviously, if you can flag them so someone knows these aren't, I know they have stakes usually and you held them in place. Just something that, so we know what we're counting when it comes to.
The day after I plant them, I'll call Kevin.
Okay.
Kev, come on out.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I think that solves 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's, but I don't want, that's my opinion of the board, I'll let you guys decide what you wanna do. Norm 2, does that make sense?
What do you think, Norm?
It sounds like a pretty simple solution that works. Hey, I know we need to change the regulation, and I guess I'm even going to say, in a way, maybe I need to apologize because I was probably the biggest proponent for adding in that street tree part of our subdivision regulations.
We were all part of that.
Fortunately, as soon as you try to require aesthetics, you run into problems. So I'll go along with Tim's suggestion for right now, and also that we should very, very shortly make some sort of alterations to, for example, Brintnal Estates, Noble Hill, and Hilltop.
Sounds good. How, you want us to vote on this?
Yeah, I would appreciate if even if it's a repeat of what you made at the October 14th meeting, if you can please just remake your motions tonight so that they will be consistent with this particular street acceptance request, whereas the other one was for a separate meeting request.
I'll make the motion to, for the condition in the I've gotta do two, because one is for Brice, Bear Hill 2, and one is for Brice Lemon.
Well, Tim, let me ask, if you're looking to modify the conditions of the decision, I don't know if there's more to that process than just a vote.
Well,
It's a field change is what I would
field
consider.
change, they just can vote to approve the field change, so you can.
Yeah.
So under your rules and regulations, there's a procedure in there for field changes. So you can make a motion to approve a field change. That's an independent thing, you make the motion, say, I move to approve a field change, eliminating the trees, the street trees, shown on the plan or required by the regulations, requiring instead that we place them somewhere else. All right,
I
that would be
apologize.
vote number one. And then vote number two was, planning board moves to recommend approval of this, and that's what you would convey back. The first one is, stays the planning board, that's the planning board issue. The one that you needed to convey back is the recommendation for the town meeting.
Yes, okay. So
That's
we
what I
could
would
not say change the condition of the decision.
That's where my
That was
mistake
my
was.
only, I just wanna clarify that we're doing the right thing.
All I can do is reference the condition that is in the,
Just a
Brice
recommendation.
Lemon. I'll reference the condition for a field change to the plan of Brice Lemon for, Woodside Avenue Phase 3, I think it is, or Phase 3.
3A, 3B's plan.
And Pioneer Circle, to have a field change that all trees will be planted either on residence property as requested, or in a open space facility to accommodate all trees as prescribed in the condition for those two streets.
By May.
By May 31st, 2026. That's my motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Do we know that there's enough room in open space to take 60 some odd trees?
It's
Definitely.
100, it's like
There's
50 acres.
32 for Woodside, 17 for Pioneer Circle, 20 for Arrowhead.
Arrowhead's one thing, but I'll tell you, Brice Estates has, 40 acres of open space?
Yes. Plenty of open space.
It's been cleared that it has room to put trees in.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And as far as Arrowhead at the beginning of,
I'm not familiar.
Well, again,
it's a narrow
I don't wanna go
spot.
off on Arrowhead, but there were, and I don't.
Oh, I know where it is, yeah.
There was one resident here that said she would take 5 trees
Yeah,
on her property
give 'em
to 'em.
on Arrowhead, so I don't have a problem if that resident wants to take 5 of the 17 trees or 5 of the 20 trees. Just get all the trees in the ground.
We have the number count, so we know what we're looking at.
Okay.
Give you the receipts for them and that's done.
All right. Motion been made and seconded, all those in favor?
Keith, aye.
Tim,
Alex,
I,
aye.
Norm, I.
Dick, aye.
so that takes care of 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Sorry, I just wanna ask, in terms of what the select board will want to see from us about the trees, is this
This'll have to be-
motion
Binding.
enough?
To a memo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah, that's
I don't
why.
want them to say, you didn't
Lauren,
give
I
us
was going
the.
through, I wanna go through all 6 of these
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make sure they all are taken care of.
Absolutely, okay.
So this takes care of that one, number 5 rather.
Oh, this thing tries.
No, this is
No, that
items,
was
1 and
one.
2.
Tim, did you vote on recommending approval?
We're not there yet.
No, we've
Yeah.
got 4 more things to go through on this list, cause the recommend from approval,
He's at the end. Okay.
yeah, because we told the select board, and Tamika really helped us out of, what do you want from us, sort of, I called a brief of what do you want for our recommendation locked out, and they came up with these 6 requirements, and I think the board decided that we're going to do that.
Can I ask a question though? Particularly for number 4, Was like town council and stuff consulted on this, because that seems out of the select board's purview in terms of attaching number 4 to the street acceptance? Was an attorney consulted on that before the select board put that on there? I find that a little overstretched in
money-
terms of
Well,
select
it's
board.
money that's meant to
Subdivision
pay for the
No,
engineering
no,
studies
and I do
and
understand the
everything.
concept, but in terms of like what I understand from Mass General Law of the planning board's role related to the developer, related to the requirements for street acceptance, that seems a stretch in terms of overstep of power. I would be very curious to know if you had actually spoken to an attorney on that one.
It's part of our subdivision rules that
But for the street acceptance for this,
we gotta have our, if there's outstanding monies, and we accept these streets, and there's bills due for that, how do we get them once the streets are accepted?
so can I just ask a question? Where can I find that in the regulations? Does anybody know that question?
Subdivision rules and regs.
In the subdivision rules and regs, specifically just the subdivision rules and regs?
Where?
It's not in.
So I've read those regs.
And I'm only
And I had this
asking-
argument with,
John,
no, the
Delia?
Delia, and it's like, it's not in there. So you wanna say that, you know, we gotta follow she says, hey, everybody's gotta follow the rules and regs. I say, oh, God bless you, I'll follow them.
So
Where are the rules and regs?
if the rules and regulations say that we have to, or we have the ability to require certain reviews and inspections or whatever, and that the 53G account is paying for those, but there isn't enough money in the 53G.
Your regulations don't provide for 53G. It's supposed to provide for 50, it's supposed to have a whole series of regs. 53G says you must adopt regulations. You must provide for administrative appeals. It has all kinds of language in it, and your regs.
There are,
53G actually they have a typo in it in your regs, but it's mentioned once in the fee schedule. No regulations regarding 53G. The board does not adopt proper regs for 53G. Now, Blair's never fought about that, and I says we'll pay it, but we don't allow multiple, I mean, as far as objecting to it, I would object to any application that exceeded what I think is the authority, and I says you don't have the regs. Your regulations do not comply with 53G. You can adopt them, but you could talk to town council about them.
53G is MGL, correct?
Yes,
So.
but the
Yeah, and
MGL,
I would just ask.
53G says, the statute says, the board shall adopt
Can
regulations.
you identify yourself for the record, please?
George Carizzi, a representative
Yeah, so-
attorney.
I didn't.
It
Thank you.
doesn't outline what you can do with it, it just establishes 53G as a banking account.
It says,
Can
this is
I-
a banking account.
Yep.
And if you adopt 53G, if you do
Yeah.
it, you must adopt rules and regulations. And those rules and regulations must provide the following things.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
So can
we gotta
I,
get
for
there.
purposes of this specific situation, can I ask, has the issue now been resolved because there is sufficient funds to pay the things that we need to pay? Okay. So whether we have the jurisdiction, we have the rules, whatever, at the moment, there does not seem to be an issue around number 4. That seems to be resolved, which presumably means we can tell the select board this has been satisfactorily resolved.
Good question though, cause you're right, I'm seeing, we reference MGL under the fee schedule, but we don't do anything past that.
Nothing. Your regs do not comply.
So in reality, I could sue you for all the money I gave you and get it back.
Well,
Okay.
So,
But we have in front of us a memo from the planning board to the select
Thanks,
board that says,
question.
we're good on number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should we discuss and potentially approve that so that we can,
You can take
in the
it-
future, talk to town council and figure out what we may or may not need to do to revise and,
yep, I think that is
Good
a
idea.
action item that
Okay.
needs to be brought forward.
It's out of order if you wanna,
I don't think we need a motion for that, we just need to be able to put it on the list. And if we had a planner, we would have them write a letter to,
You already did, that's what I sent you today and had for you guys to sign tonight.
no, I meant about the potential
terms
of
of
our
looking-
subdivision regs being modified for 53G.
I can reach out to town council
Okay.
if the board gives me authorization to do so.
Okay.
But maybe we can loop back to that, cause I feel like there's a lot of different things that have been said. And so maybe if at the end we can just summarize specifically what the board is looking for from
Yep,
town
yep,
council,
yep,
just
yep.
so I can be concise in what I say to them.
No, and I think Tamika, to Dick, that I think that doesn't have pertinence to what we're trying to do for these roads, but it has pertinence into the future for
Correct.
existing subdivisions that are coming, that could be potentially coming up. Cause you're right, we talk about the fees, but we don't go any farther than that, so it is missing from our subdivision regs and how to execute 53G.
I just wanted to be sure that it wasn't a hiccup if it's not even relevant to the decision. Meaning if it's
It's not,
something that.
the beauty is, if I'm not mistaken, everything is all been resolved.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let anybody get stuck, but the money that you paid off to those other people, we're gonna talk about that.
Okay. So in terms of this specific memo, I can't make motions, but it looks good to me to address item number 4 on the punch list.
3 is the.
I know we jumped 3, but it's kind of just,
So for 3,
So-
can I ask also just for that,
Can you,
If you're gonna speak,
Oh,
we
sorry.
need you to identify
Yep,
yourself,
Margaret
thank
Murphy,
you.
16 Woodside, Rutland, Mass, thank you. For number 3, and I do feel badly that the DPW director
leave.
left.
I know, I needed him.
Because I was in receipt of his email in which he did approve the curbing as is. And so I also want to kind of be sure, based on what we've researched, that that is also something that the planning board will support as is on Pioneer in Woodside, based on the own town's director, which my understanding is part of the process for the recommendation for street acceptance, was emailed, and that the developer wouldn't then be kind of held responsible for something that he was.
There lies the problem. The DPW director doesn't have the authority to change plans, only the planning board does.
However, so tell me if I'm wrong, and again, I'm not an attorney and I am not proficient in
Ask
this type
questions.
of law. But again, that would be on the town and not on the developer, and the resident shouldn't be.
Nope. That's not my opinion.
So,
But is it an opinion, or is it an interpretation of the law, or does anybody have factual, like, I know that this is how we interpret the law?
Well, the subdivisions regs say any changes with the plan has to come through the planning board. So any changes to a plan, be it field changes, minor modifications, or major modifications, has to come through the planning board for a subdivision
So
plan.
then how are people held accountable for then approving something that they shouldn't? I guess that's where I'm like
I don't have
stuck.
control of that. I don't have control of staff, so.
But it impacts residents and it impacts process. So
Well, how do you,
it impacts people.
Can you speak your name for the record?
yeah, Lisa Walleye, 3 Pioneer Circle. I don't know how you can call a vote a legitimate vote. You have 4 people voting. Do you have a tie? How do you break it? So we're stuck?
we got 5.
We got 5.
I know, but I was told that there were only 4 people here and it was a 2-2 vote.
That was a selectment meeting.
That was select board.
Yeah, that's
Board.
not-
Oh.
Yeah, so how is that legal then? Nobody's there to break the tie.
It's like poker,
It's legal,
You
if
know.
if it's a tie, it
those
fails.
are the cards that fall.
Are we
But
talking,
that
we're talking
doesn't
about the
seem
catch
right.
basins, is
You
that
have
what?
to be able to.
The granite inlets.
The
Yes,
Catch
right.
basins, yes.
inlets around the catch basin. So, again, I would suggest to you, that's a minor field change. I understand that the board already voted back in October based on the letter from DPW saying this is what we want, and the board already voted in October to accept those field changes. That would be a field change. Now, and there's a question as to whether or not, what exactly is a field change? Field changes aren't identified. The regulations don't actually define with the planning board agent who that is. So DPW guy comes in and says, I don't want this. Similar, like sometimes they say, I don't want A berms, I want Cape Cod berms. And so they make these changes. Boards can do that. Courts have looked into whether or not these are minor modifications that can be approved by the board at a simple vote, or whether or not they are sufficient or significant enough that would require a formal modification process, an 81W amendment plan. And there's a lot of stuff on that. So the first thing courts do is they look to see the regulations.
What do the regulations say? Does the regulations have provisions in there for planning board field changes, planning board minor modification? You see the different languages in there and say whether or not the planning board can do this without a public hearing, without a formal amendment under 81W. And the courts have said that when we do that, when the board does these minor modifications or formal amendments, they look to see, the statute says that if it affects, and they use the word affects, the lots in the subdivision, all right? The case law on that says that when we look at the word affect, we look to see whether or not it affects the title or the marketability of the lots. If they make this change, would the lot be non-buildable? And the reason I raise that, let's talk back to Karen Way. You wipe out that road, that might make those lots unmarketable. So that would require a formal petition under 81W, all right? But when it doesn't affect marketability, it's not it doesn't affect it in the statutory sense. So there's actually a great case that I can read you. This is a 1985 case. It's the Patel case. And this is what they say, and this is what the court says in that. It says, any number of physical changes affect, in greater or lesser degree, lots in the subdivision. E.g., location of trees, one of the things we dealt earlier, width of streets, plantings between curbs and lot lines, traffic signals, overhead and underground utilities, street lighting. There's a provision here, they got it with street lighting. So this is right in that case. This is from the appeals court. They go on, they say, they do not, however, limit the utility of those lots and hence do not affect, and they put it in quotation marks, that's not me, they do not affect them in the statutory sense. The alterations approved by the planning board in the instant case fall into this indirect impact category. No 81W required. They can do that on an informal voting basis because they don't affect the lots as a marketability. So exactly what we have here, street lighting, curb, planting of trees, planting between curbs and lot lines, the number or location of trees, the width of the streets. And you see these a lot of times people, they have a 50-foot wide right of way. They put the road in, it's supposed to be center line, or it runs in the center, and they've got it 5 feet off center. It's okay. Field change, we're gonna bless it. We're still within the right of way. Doesn't really impact anybody. We still have full rights of access. We're not gonna blow up the subdivision because we're 5 feet out of center, as long as we're within the center line. If the roads were actually on the lots, that would affect the marketability of the lots. So I'd suggest to you that this type of change, the granite curb, the curb inlets versus the Cape Cod berms that are there now, approved by, recommended by DPW, can approve by the planning board with as you did, as I understand, you already did in October.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is that we approved it at a meeting that ended up not being recorded, so the select board didn't know. And what we need to do now is just write it down for them.
Well,
But again, can I speak Margaret Murphy 61 Side Ave? I feel like as a resident too, that there's then kind of conflicting information, because I understand the meeting was recorded, right? But when you read on timeliness, once the minutes were submitted, the minutes, correct me if I'm wrong, are supposed to be submitted within a reasonable time. I understand that the recording might have been outdated, but again, I feel like you have people impacted from missteps that are taken. We pay taxes. I appreciate you, I respect you, and I know that you're volunteering your time. But some of how we're impacted is because of people not doing their job. And so I struggle with that as somebody that pays taxes, to say, well, now we're gonna have meeting minutes ready for January, but we couldn't get them posted before this meeting when people know the strong feelings and strong emotion, like that couldn't have been prioritized?
It's not just that meeting. There are issues within the cable company and posting meetings. It's just the way it is with a volunteer workforce. I mean, I don't think.
Do you get where I'm coming from?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's December 9th, the meeting was October 14th, the meeting minutes were in hand, they've been passed into the town, but we still couldn't get it done to have them published by today. That's not acceptable. It's just not. It's just, and if you have an excuse for it, fine, but I don't know how there can't, I would hope that somebody would say there isn't an excuse. There is no excuse because it's December 9th. The meeting was October 14th and they were recorded. How can you say that 45 days you couldn't get them transcribed? I don't understand that.
I work a lot, so.
And I'm not
I
being, I'm
didn't-
sorry if I'm
I
coming
work a lot.
across.
I won't get into it.
And I just hope that people understand from our perspective.
We understand why that you guys are frustrated.
we're
I
all
also,
there.
I feel for you guys. I mean, this is your family and the person who is, you know, supposed to be clearing your roads is telling you, hey, we're gonna leave you high and dry, and that's very disconcerting when you're talking about families and being able to get first responders in there and getting them to school and all that. It's very, you know, central stuff to who we are as parents and human beings. I absolutely feel for you guys. And I'm in no way trying to shove anything down your throat. We should have had those to you, absolutely. But I don't think it was anything nefarious or anything like that. I fully understand your frustration. I think it's valid.
Okay. One really quick thing. The planning board wrote a letter, and the select board had it that night, telling them that they voted that. It's in the meeting packet for the select board.
This should have been on the town meeting.
It should have been on the town
Yeah,
meeting
we're-
warrant. There's no
We're
excuse.
not gonna go backwards,
Can
we're here now.
Can we just say, okay, regardless of the notes from that meeting, at this meeting, right now, we can just sign off on the draft memo from the planning board to the select board that says, this is our formal waiver on the granite curb inlets.
I got a problem with that, Lauren.
Okay.
Sorry.
Field change, but.
The field change, I agree with your interpretation, George. The problem is that on the stormwater inlets, that was part of a stormwater management plan. Putting in a asphalt curb is a completely different portion when you're doing a stormwater management plan because the flow, again, I'm just repeating what Kevin and I talked about. I'm struggling with, I guess from the town's perspective, I'm planting my flag, so to speak. I believe that those granite curbs should go in, because after talking with Kevin, on some of these slopes, those granite curbs will benefit the amount of water and the lack of leaf cover. The curbing outside of that, no issue with it. But the granite design at the stormwater inlet should be done. Now, the question to the board is, it didn't happen, I get that. What do we do about it? There's a couple of options. Require them to be put back in before we give our recommendation. I think that time's passed. But I do think the Woodside connector that's in there now, since there's no houses being built at that point, that should get the curbs, the stormwater drains. And Chris has said, I've spoke with him, he does not want one-piece granite curbs. I agree with him on that. But there are transitional granite curbs that can go in around the stormwater drains. So again, I don't want to hold up the roads being approved, but that's something that we've got to decide on. Do we put a fee to what is the cost of putting those in to come back to the town? Do we force them to be put in before we approve the roads? I'm putting that out to the board. I believe one of those two actions has to happen.
You already voted to. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think I was gonna say the same thing, which I'm surprised by, but did we not, I don't vote. Did the board not already vote on this at that meeting in the other room?
Already eliminated.
But there was no
Officially,
waiver.
it never happened.
Don't need a waiver.
Technically speaking.
Tim, you can't put them in now. If you tell, when you set the grate, the throat of that granite curb inlet has to go behind the grate.
I know.
You can't do it now. It happened to us in phase 2. Joe Buckley said, listen, Gary said, don't put them in phase 1, so we don't. And then Joe Buckley says, well, I gotta have them in phase 2, so I put them in. But they're not really functioning the way they should be because the throats can't go in. Now, Chris doesn't want them in phase 3. I don't put them in when I raise up the stuff. And now you can't make me go back, and you can't charge me to make me go back and do something. And number three, you've already voted to eliminate them. I'll put them in phase 4, I can do it, no problem. But phase 3 is done. You can't change it now.
Gonna ask the board, what's their opinion?
I agree with you that the 3-piece is the way to go. I understand that we've gone back and forth from different DPWs, and I don't know how to go back and correct that problem. But, granite is stronger than asphalt, and the additional throat at the back makes it a better product. I think that needs to be what we do going forward. And how we address the inconsistencies within that development between some of them being granite and some of them being asphalt, I don't know. Because I am not a mechanical engineer who can design how a throat goes in and all that kind of stuff. That would be more of a Kevin Quinn question as far as, is that even possible? But I would agree with you that we do need to have consistency with that. And we do need to have the product that is going to last the town the longest and cost them the least in the long run.
That's honestly what I was gonna ask Chris, because I know that you two had the conversation. I just need to hear from him, and we waited too long, and that's our fault, to find out down the road, because this is one of the select board's comments. Is that curb, is that stormwater grate gonna last? They don't have the confidence it will. I need this gentleman to say, yep, I'm good with it. They'll last 25, 10 years.
He's the one who asked for it?
He's the one who asked for it.
I know.
He wrote a letter. How much more do you want? He said, don't put him in.
I gotta do my due diligence, because the plan called for, and the stormwater plan had those grates in and that design. The design that's in there now is different. So that's to the board. I feel that I have to, mainly as an engineer too, that I gotta bring this up. Because there's a cost difference too, where, again, it's just Kevin and I talking about costs. A granite curb to an asphalt curb is about 4,000 plus labor each.
Those little inlets, they're not that much.
No, the transition, that's what, again.
The town doesn't get that money because we
Why
didn't
not?
spend it, because it's not,
It goes in somebody's pocket.
No, it just, the work was changed. It's the same thing, you'll get the money for the streetlights that Dicky doesn't want installed. You don't get to do that. It's like,
Really?
the bond amount is there, we figure it is, but if we put it in, you don't.
You're arguing about a plan that officially wasn't changed.
Well,
was
no,
voted
I'm
on
saying
a
it's a
meeting.
field change. I think it's a field change. The board should take it up. You've already voted to
Yeah.
approve it in October.
You know what? I'm gonna take myself out of it, and there's 4 other people here, so you guys give your opinion. I'll leave it up to the board on I've given my thoughts, and I'm talking with Kevin, I've got costs associated with it, but I'll leave it up to the board on what they wanna do.
I'm not gonna get.
Norm, you have any opinion?
I would favor that we simply revote a minor modification for the sections of Woodside and Pioneer Circle that are under consideration right now.
I think listen, do I think that we got handed probably an inferior product? Yes, but I also think that, that was what was asked for. And as much as I don't like the way that we have been dealt with by certain developers, I don't think that we can then go back and say, hey, this meeting didn't happen, we didn't approve this, that, and the other. I think that we need to clean up our side of the street and fix this going forward so that we have these 3-piece granites. And unfortunately, that's just, it stinks, but it's water under the bridge at this point with those inlets. I'd love to, get Clee to go change them, but I don't see how we have any sort of legal recourse to do that. And I mean, as much as I'd like the granite, I think we kind of painted ourselves into a corner with this one, and we need to fix it going forward. But I don't think that this is the hill to die on for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, the hard thing is we've had different opinions and they've obviously solidified a design change, a different curb. The inlets, the catch basins are where they're stationed to be, no matter what. So I mean, at least it's not like there isn't gonna be a water caught with the device. Yeah, the other design catches more leaves. You know, flash water probably goes in a lot better, but it'll just be something we've learned from. And you can still do a Cape Cod berm with a 3-piece transition to satisfy DPW director in the future, so.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the field change, doesn't bother me.
Sorry, I had to bring it up. But
Yeah,
Me,
I
I don't think, the one thing I wanted to say is not just to you, Cleve, but any developer that's listening or will watch this, the correct procedure on these field changes, minor modifications, is come to the planning board. Having a discussion with Chris and getting approval, I'm fine with that. Chris is an integral part of this town, or any DPW director. But we got to go through the process, and the process is any changes, come to the board, the drawings be modified. When the as-bills come out, they'll have the modification on them. I'm fine with that, but it didn't happen that way. That's why I'm a little frustrated.
Well, we're at the street acceptance part where we're dealing with it, so I understand what you're saying.
So I guess what I'm gonna say is, I'll acquiesce to what the board is, but the phase 4 and 5, really need to think about that, cause there's no houses there and the road's been put in, and you need to think about what you wanna do. That's it, I'm done.
Cause phase 4 and 5, you can go back to the other design, is that what you're saying?
That's a
The 3-piece
discussion that
Design.
With a 3-piece,
we need to have with the developer, the board, and Chris.
okay.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
I'll let them move forward from there, but I'm sorry, I had to plant my flag and say something, cause it just.
No, it works.
So, I mean, I think for now, we need to, was this the memo that was drafted to, okay, so we'll follow the memo, I would say, if you guys are good with it, and move forward with what they have, but I already have it to email later on regarding updating our rules and regs for that, so that we can stick with something going forward.
I think our rules and regs are set for that, it's just we gotta make sure the process is followed. 'Cause I don't think the process was followed, that was the whole problem. I don't think there's anything wrong with our rules and regs on
No.
Granite, but it's just the process we need to square away, so. Do we need to make a motion to?
Yes.
Because this, like Norm said, if it's a minor modification, we need to make a motion and vote on it.
Okay,
That's how I worded it in the memo, so if you can just echo that wording.
I don't have the memo in front of me, unfortunately.
either do I.
It's
I
in
did
that
not bring
folder,
that
Dick.
one because
It's in the folder,
seems
Dick,
very
right?
straightforward.
Minor modification right here for,
Let me just read this one.
those are the those are the trees. Trees, I'm getting warmer.
I did one memo for Pioneer and Woodside, and I did another one for Arrowhead. I don't know if that same thing pertains to Arrowhead.
Trees. Here it is, granite curbs. That's Bear Hill 2, and then I bet there's one behind it for Woodside. Yep, there they are.
Do I hear a motion? Or as written?
Someone's gotta, read it as written.
Motion to grant a minor modification for the granite curb inlets to the Cape Cod berms as described for Pioneer Circle, Woodside Ave, and Arrowhead Way.
Yeah,
So
I don't
moved.
have that one.
So moved.
There you go.
Tamika. Did you move it?
No, you moved it.
Okay.
Before I say anything, wouldn't we wanna do two motions because they're separate subdivisions? Just to get them correctly done, that's my opinion. I think that would be right, because otherwise,
All right.
I'm sorry, I'm just, again, procedure.
If I may, Tim, then we need to go back to the other one because you didn't make a motion for Arrowhead Way on the trees. You only did Brice
I only did
Estates.
Brice Lemon, yeah, I didn't do the
Yeah,
trees.
so we need to go back and make a second motion for that one too.
Let's get this one done and we'll go back and,
Okay.
So we'll break this into the two motions. As written.
Yeah, split them up between the two roads.
Okay, so
that
this
Tim
first
had
one will be a minor
mentioned.
modification for Woodside Ave and Pioneer Circle.
correct?
Did anybody make that motion?
No, cause it's too much to say, but,
Okay, you can say so moved.
so moved.
There you go. Second.
Roll call vote.
Or, yes, roll call vote, Norm,
Aye.
Keith, aye.
Alex,
Alex, aye.
Dick, aye,
I gotta say nay.
Tim, nay. Okay. Arrowhead Way,
That one I agree with.
as written,
So moved.
second. Roll call, Norm,
Aye.
Keith, aye.
Can you clarify which one this is for?
Arrowhead,
Arrowhead Way, the
For the
same.
trees, though?
No,
No, this is for the
Arrowhead for
granite
the
curbs.
granite.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still on the same one.
Alex, aye.
Dick, aye.
I'll go aye on Arrowhead.
Okay.
I'll go back and make a motion for Arrowhead to have the trees as prescribed in the conditions, all planted either on private or on residence property or on open space.
Tim, would you like to clarify, since technically there is an open space there, what would you call it, Clea?
Isn't,
There is there used to be a driveway for Richie Helly, he had his driveway down there. So when we did this, it's actually between the two lots. You know, there's a big space that was, you could call it open space. It's not an open space subdivision, but I know what you're referring to.
Yeah.
And it definitely would fit that many trees, so
I guess,
This is-
That space.
Keep it the same.
I think it's part of
Cause I thought on GIS it looked like it belonged to the house behind
Might
it.
be
Is it
Arnie's.
part of the?
Casriel's.
I just wanna make sure that we have the right to plant it there.
I don't even, I'll find out.
well,
But,
Well, if you can also identify the lady who wants 5 trees, that'd be.
yeah, that would be helpful.
I know who she
Probably
is.
Yeah.
Caitlin.
Yeah, I think it's Caitlin, yeah.
Caitlin will take them all at
Yeah.
this point.
I guess what my motion will be to have all trees planted within the Arrowhead road,
There you
either on
go.
residence property and or any open areas that are prescribed to be, can be planted.
I do have open space at Brintnal.
I don't wanna, I don't wanna,
Okay,
We'll run it at Arrowhead.
that's my
All
motion.
right.
By May 31st of 2026.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Narwhal, aye.
Norm?
Norm, aye.
Keith, aye.
Alex?
Moss, aye.
Dick, aye.
Well, now we're on to 5.
I don't think we made a,
We know that four.
Four's-
Tamika, how do you wanna address number 4? Just say that,
Could you maybe just make a motion to sign the memo as drafted, noting that the matter has been resolved?
So moved.
second.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Norm, aye.
Narwhal, aye. Oh,
Keith, aye.
Alex, aye.
Dick, aye.
Tamika, did you also have a letter for Turner? I didn't see that.
yeah.
Or do you want us to come up with this? Consulting report, here it is.
Okay.
how do you define toilet paper?
Don't. I'm fine with this. It's actually really good. Because the Turner report, and I'll say this on public record, I've got it here too, is that all but the last paragraph spoke about erosion control that had nothing to do with the roads. And our jurisdiction for approving, the last paragraph, if I'm not mistaken, indicated what they could do for us, which has always been done by Kevin Quinn and by Yankee.
Yes.
And those have been approved, so I'm fine. I would make a motion to add this letter dated December 9th, a subject consulting report, Bear Hill 2, Arrowhead Way, as to be submitted to the select board as part of the requirement they ask for the acceptance of the road for Arrowhead.
Second.
Seconded. Made and seconded. All those in favor?
Norm, I.
Keith, I.
Alex, aye.
Normal vote aye.
I don't know.
Aye.
Give the select board a copy of the attorney report.
6, I'm not sure, this is my take. It says I'll read it out. Consideration of requiring that construction vehicles enter exclusively through Woodside Ave in Phase 1, which is off Charnock Hill, to avoid wear and tear on new roadway being accepted.
I thought they were going off of Main Street.
Yeah.
That was,
Last meeting,
that was
we
my
discussed the
suggestion,
opposite.
because the reason I suggested it is because that road is new. We've got a 1-year warranty on it. So if there's gonna be construction traffic over and it's not built correctly, we'll know about it within the year of the development of that, of the extension of phase 4 and 5, is that right? 4 and 5?
Yeah.
4 and 5. So subjecting roads that are already built and accepted, standing up for Chris, why am I subject those to construction traffic? That was my take. Let the board think, but that's the reason why I wanted to.
Like to keep the traffic as much as possible off of Charnock Hill. Why
Yeah,
pound?
that's kind of what my feeling was as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
I definitely agree on that, particularly Shannock Hill is a country road. It isn't built to any really good specifications. The heavy traffic on Shannock Hill is more likely to cause a whole lot more damage.
Oh,
I mean, it's taken out Brintnal to quite an effect, and then Glenwood, and Glenwood's deteriorating before our eyes too. So I would go Main Street, but keep them all on that road so that all that travel can be condensed onto that one road and then taken from Bond.
And this is my
Should be
opinion to
increased.
the board. I don't think this should be part of the consideration for the acceptance of the road. This should be just a memo back to the select board saying this is our opinion. Well, what we believe we should ask the developer to do for 4 and 5. I don't think this has anything to do with road acceptance. That's my opinion. I'll let the rest of the board decide.
No, you're absolutely right.
Anything to grab onto.
It's just that, sitting on a tractor for so many freaking years, packing silage down, I know how things can get packed good. So I'd rather see come off Main Street and up there and on your new road.
I have a 7. I did have a 7 on here that I ask, and I gotta ask Mr. Blair, HOA, is there $3,900 sitting in there for HOA funds?
No, I don't know. I don't know how much is in there, to be honest with you, but I certainly haven't made all of the, what do you call it? But I will. I'll make sure it's done. By Friday.
If you can get that letter to
I'll just give you a copy of the bank book.
That's good enough.
Even
That was
better,
my
right?
7. I wanted to, because that came up as a side discussion with the select board, and I thought we better hedge our bets and make sure that the HOA funds, I think it was $200 or $50
a lot.
per lot, and there's 78 lots sold, if I'm not mistaken, so that comes
No,
out.
no, it's not that many.
Okay.
I don't think so. There's
I
40
thought there was
left.
78, but I could,
It could be, you could be right. Yeah, I don't know.
and I just wanted to make sure that monies were there, and that way there's no discussion about monies not being available to the select board, so we dot the i's and cross the t's. That's it. That was my number 7.
so can I, Margaret Murphy,
I'm
16
gonna
So
forget.
I am curious though, because I agree with you about, I think it's number 6, right? That shouldn't be a condition of road acceptance. So I would argue maybe too that number 7 wouldn't be potentially a condition of road acceptance, correct? Unless you were to consult with somebody to know that that's within your right. I would just ask that.
It is actually, because the.
But that's what I always want, but in terms of the money being there, so you know that factually, that
Every house after it's been built with $50 is supposed to be contributed to the HOA. And at 75% of the houses being built, the developer can at that time turn the HOA over to the HOA board.
Yeah.
That's by the residents.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure, like I said, I'm just trying to dot the i's so there's no open interpretation of not being up to date or anything like that. If you wanna, what I'm trying to do is make sure there's no dig to say, no, we can't do that.
And I so appreciate that, but I do then wonder, so for number 6, right, if we follow this through, how does that play out as it relates to the select board? So the planning board is gonna say, I'm assuming, right, that we don't think that's a condition, but this memo, these conditions came from the select board. So how does that process play out? You guys are going to say, we don't agree with that, and then the planning board can say, well, this is what we wanted decided upon? Talk to me, I guess I always wanna be talked through how that could play out.
So,
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, so item number 7, if I'm understanding correctly, item number 7 is that funding that is part of the agreed upon subdivision decision. And we have the authority to say the terms of that decision were or were not met, and so we're gonna.
Correct.
Where the construction traffic drives is not part of that decision.
The select board had
It's a
asked,
separate
when Norm and I was
discussion.
at it, Lauren, is that they were afraid that roads are gonna get ruined by construction traffic and such like that, so Norm and I said, well, maybe we can divert them through the other road and maybe we could ask for 24 months instead of 12 months. But I've sort of backed off on that and say 12 months from when the road's accepted. That takes it to next December, which gets through all the construction season of next year.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll tell you what, do you think if I wreck that road, you think he's gonna let me get away with it, Chris? He's gonna kick me in the ass and
Well,
get
cause then they
get down
just
there
won't
and fix
accept
it.
phases 4 and 5, like
Correct.
there's still leverage, right?
Well, no,
They're
what they were worried
doing
about
when
was
they
if
own.
Woodside gets accepted,
Right,
that, and if it gets ruined, it's on the town after 12
Right.
months to fix it.
No,
And that's what they were worried about. And I can see that, but on the flip side, from a construction standpoint, Arrowhead has had construction traffic going through it for 5 years and that road's still in mint, I shouldn't say mint, but it's
mint.
it's not,
Very good condition.
it's conditioned that there's no humps or anything like that, so I would
Right.
assume
But
that
as you
the-
go down that development though, you run into a lot of issues with the road as you head down towards the catch basin, past Arrowhead, as you go down, what is that, Cleveland Circle, take a left on Grizzly. As you're going down Grizzly, every 50 feet, there's a giant crack going across the road.
Okay, I was just looking at Arrowhead, I
So
hadn't gone
roads
past
don't
it.
Driving
last
my tractor, no
forever.
suspension.
Whoever drives on them with the most wear and tear, they're the ones that are gonna shorten the lifespan of the road. They're trying to lower how and what is causing a road to fail sooner. So just trying to accommodate them. It is gonna be something we deal with in the future. There's a lot of interpretation on it. Everyone's got their say on what's good, what's bad, what's better for a road. You know, I think we should get an expert eventually to guide us through it, cause we're not construction people.
Would that be a traffic study?
No.
Just a civil engineering discussion for maybe a couple guys that build roads somehow or have documentation on,
That's Kevin's
yeah.
a civil
and-
engineer,
and
that's the question.
And eventually, yeah, we gotta decide who gets the most wear and tear, and eventually, yeah, it is gonna be the town's responsibility, but it just depends on
And the question I think
project scope, for sure, 100
Pete was
houses
asked,
versus 5.
how much on new subdivisions there's been replacement or issues, and I don't remember any,
Yeah,
and I don't remember any near term, like 0 to 5 years of, other than one issue that wasn't this developer, it was another developer had run some whole house drains out to the road and it sort of undercut the subbase and caused the road to
Integrity of the
collapse.
road.
It was in Vista Circle.
yeah.
Was it Vista Circle?
Yeah, it was Vista Circle. But that was corrected, Mr. Kelleher corrected it during his tour of duty. So, but again, that's, your point is taken, but to, the answer, I would say, do we need to, I'm asking the board, do we write a letter back to, or a memo back to select board saying, punch list item 6, we consider, here's our recommendation, the developer agrees with it, we're going to,
It doesn't hurt. I think the more documentation, the better. To answer Margaret's question, ultimately, at the end of the day, despite what the planning board says or provides, street acceptance lies in MGL with the select board. So we did confer with town council. They do still have the right to choose not to adopt the ways at the public hearing. The town meeting will still happen, but if they choose not to adopt them, whatever vote is taken at town meeting will be a sense of the meeting and not a legally binding vote.
So the select board has the right not to accept it.
On December 2nd, right?
December
22nd, yeah.
Correct.
On the 22nd.
I don't know if I agree with that, just so you know, I mean,
Just to confirm, I did check that with town council, so I just want you to know
we
I
hope
didn't
we don't have to
pull
go
that out
there
of the air,
because,
but-
you know, the statute says they shall put it on the warrant, and it does, and then the statute says the vote of the town is binding on all persons in the town, so, you know, I'm not gonna.
I think in this case, George, so what town council explained to me is that this one is a little bit different because it's street acceptance, so even though it was placed by citizens petition, it still has to follow the process of MGL, which is why we're doing this all over again. So he said if the board chooses not to lay it out after the public hearing, it still has to go to town meeting, but that vote will not be legally binding. That was the
I don't
advice
know
he
that I
gave to
agree
us.
with town council on that, and I bet, and
Better
I
ask the
guarantee you
questions,
this,
select board.
guarantee
Also,
you
I
this.
think how I would respond, I'm sorry, who did I interrupt?
Let him just
'Cause that's
finish,
so
yeah.
rude. I apologize.
I was just say, I will guarantee you, town council, and that may be fine, they can have that opinion, and I have a different opinion. I will guarantee you, there is not a single case that deals with a town vote at a special town meeting that takes streets, that the select board doesn't do it, and then it goes up to court and says which conflicting statute controls, so
I
we
think
don't
this is
have to
out of
fight
our,
it.
I
this
was
is
gonna
out of
say,
our,
since this is a planning board meeting and
Yeah.
not a select board meeting,
I don't wanna talk
I
about this.
think that, you know, what we should do is, as you suggested,
Send a letter.
send a letter to them the same way that we've done all these various memos and say, here is everything that we think, here's our recommendations, here's all of our information, here's as much as we can possibly give you. Godspeed, we don't control you.
Well, yeah, and once we give our recommendation, the only other thing we have to do is the chairman, and again, this is, I was gonna lay out to the planning board, we've never, in my tour of duty, we've never done a citizen's petition for a road acceptance. So I don't know, Norm, I'm asking you, do we give our recommendation? Cause we give recommendations on other citizens petitions for positive at the town meeting. I don't have a problem doing that, but I thought I better bring it up to the board. Cause we'll be asked by the moderator, what is your,
Correct, so I did ask this question of town council, cause it's kind of a weird situation. And he said, there is nothing in the statute that requires planning board, FinCom, or select board to make a recommendation on a citizen's petition. In this case, if you do make a recommendation, it's one that you will have to say on town meeting floor, because they finalized and signed the warrant last night. So it will not be posted with the recommendation on there, just so you know. You just have to say it on town meeting floor.
we've done that before, haven't we, Norm? All of our recommendations have been on town floor?
Yes.
There you go.
So where do we stand with number 6? Are you willing to just maintain off of Main Street?
No problem. Now, I'm not gonna tell you that I have a lot of Mensa candidates that work, you know, for me, so they do screw up. And, you know, I'm just being
As long
funny,
as
but-
your site
Sometimes they just-
manager,
Yeah,
as long as your site manager can help them be successful.
Well, the
Yeah.
select board didn't want him to stay, they wanted him to go down Scenic. So if we could direct as much traffic as we can on Main Street, we can, but it's not as though the select board wanted no traffic on Scenic. They wanted all traffic on Scenic. So if we're splitting it between the two or trying to direct them all to Main Street, it's
I
going
would-
my best.
I'll ask the board, but I really would like to push everything from Maine
I'll
and not
try.
deal with.
Yeah.
And again, if you've got a pickup truck, electrician that's coming up,
That's not the
Oh,
problem.
that's
that's
not-
not my
I'm not
problem.
talking-
My problem's the 10-wheeler with the load of
Or the excavator on the back of the low bit, no, I get it, no.
Yeah.
And
I
you
just go
know,
by my office window all the time.
It's not like,
Maybe we should make the recommendation to the select board that we're recommending through the develop that all construction vehicles, heavy construction
Heavy
vehicles will come off Main.
Might I recommend that you
That's
make that into a motion?
Yep.
And then I can put that in the memo?
Okay, I'll make a motion that,
I would say just construction vehicles, and if somebody comes in hot from Dunkin' Donuts in their painting truck and they take the, fine, who cares?
Yeah.
But construction vehicles, don't get into the down and dirty, just
I'll just make a
construction
motion
vehicles.
then that all construction vehicles for phase 4 and 5 will be entering the construction area off of Main Street through Woodside.
As practical.
As practical, yeah, that's probably good.
Because if you have a low boy facing one way, you're not gonna be able to turn it around to
Correct.
get back up, so you're gonna exit out the other way.
Or if you've got an emergency and you got your vehicles, he's coming the other way.
Yeah.
As practical,
As
I'll add that in.
practical.
through the chair. You might wanna put a weight limit on it, that's the easiest way, 5 tons.
That'd be lovely.
What's a reasonable, have no
Anything
frame of
over,
Anything over 5 tons.
5 tons?
Clee, is there, I'm not a construction person, is there any devices that you'll
That's,
have?
that's.
20,000
that's
pounds.
all.
20,000
I have
pounds.
I have
Yeah, it's okay.
some trucks, it might,
10,000 pounds.
What's your excavator run?
80,000.
That's what I thought.
2,600 is
Yeah,
the
they take
lowest weight.
a low boy with an excavator and a giant semi up and down Brintnal like all the time. It's
I
a
would stick
big
with the
heavy
construction
deal.
truck,
It's not
yeah.
5 tons.
Oh, go.
Yeah.
They gotta get them in there somehow.
Right, I would do,
Nine o'clock.
again through the chair, no more than 5 tons on Sharnick Road. The reason for that, I mean, obviously, if you have, as Seth was saying, if you have an articulating vehicle that has a large piece of equipment, they have to go in one way and we're not backing up people's driveways. That's how every construction site, I worked with the state for 20 years. That's how every construction site that we wanted limited, we always put 5 tons. That's not a pickup truck, it's not even a U-Haul or anything like that, it's a big,
It's a box truck.
a dump truck.
What's 5 tons?
10,000
pounds.
10,000 pounds?
Yeah, 10,000.
That's, I don't know, I mean,
On Charnock, you're saying?
Keeping it, going from Main Street, keeping the wear off of the
truck
road,
loaded with.
that you're worried about Sharnick Hill, which is not built very, probably
So
not
put
built-
the 5-ton limit on Charnock Hill and send it all.
Correct,
Yeah,
that's, I thought I made myself clear, but I talk quick.
I mean,
I'm usually talking to engineers and
Well-
architects.
it's a public way. You should be able to use it.
I don't know.
I know what you want me to do, you don't wanna, have the big heavy construction vehicles.
I don't want any construction vehicle other than like Alex said. If I've got a
the
painter
van
truck,
or
if
something like
I,
that, yeah, I'll,
drywall guys, I don't care, but if you're gonna bring in excavators, front loaders, all that stuff, it all's gotta come in off Main Street, so maybe I say any construction vehicles that's associated with building of.
delivery trucks.
I'm fine with that.
Any semis, anything like that. I'll just say construction vehicles and semi,
tractor trailers.
tractor trailers, yeah. That'll cover pretty much everything. That'll be my motion.
Second.
Second is the motion, okay.
I
Roll
guess
call.
if
Or comment, go
If
ahead.
I was gonna say anything, I would probably make a personal plea to Clee as the employer of all these people going back and forth. I've had some of your guys stop at my son's lemonade stand and they're great dudes. I used to be in the trades, love people in the trades. I don't care if you're coming in 5 minutes late, 8 o'clock is when the buses come around. Same with 7:30. Tell them to please keep it slow. If it comes from their boss or their boss's boss, people tend to listen. Just please put that out there because it's dangerous.
I will, and I'll tell them, I just wanna make one thing clear, most of the people that work for me are subcontractors, I don't like tell them what to do, I mean, I write their checks, so they listen to me, but at the end of the day, they
Your site manager has
Yeah,
some
but the
power.
subs
I
wanna
mean,
keep working for you.
I can, I'll put a note in their checks, hey, slow down, and I'm happy to do that, and I try to do that anyway, I don't wanna disrupt.
Let me tell you about morning meetings where you have the safety morning meeting.
Yeah.
The site manager could have a morning safety meeting and tell them, listen, this is what I'm expecting. This is what I'm expecting. Say it enough to get through their heads. I agree with Alex, because where I work now at Eversource, we have to have a meeting every morning. Doesn't matter if you've been on that site for 2 weeks, every morning have a meeting. Have a discussion about safety and what's going on, so. I agree with Alex, a little discussion goes a long way, because if I'm not mistaken, until the roads are accepted and all that's done, the kids have to go to all the way to the end of Woodside to get picked up by a bus.
Yeah.
On that corner
So-
too.
Buses don't go
Yeah.
through on private roads.
They turn around that corner
Yeah,
really sharp
so,
turn, so.
Again, that's it.
Just
Okay.
reassuring it all, I would say that I
I'm
don't
looking for a vote. Norm?
Sorry.
Aye.
Keith?
My only comment would be, if they're dual language or something, have someone let them know in their language too, what's going on, cause if that's what you mean.
There's usually one guy that speaks English, and you can get through to him, but I hear you.
Yeah, just to be
We're in a voting,
Comment?
we're in a vote mode for the.
That's my only comment, but,
No, I'm asking for a vote.
yeah, I know. Keith, aye.
Alex.
Alex, I.
Narwhal, aye.
Williams, aye.
So we'll get that
Okay.
as part of the package
Yep.
that we give to the select board.
I'll put everything together and I'll send it out in an email to you guys so that you see it. And then those will become part of the public meeting packet once we publish for the December 22nd meeting.
Now we come to the final finale,
For this, all right.
recommendation. Select board needs a recommendation on all 3 roads. What do we do?
What do we do?
I'm okay with all of it. I think we outlined what we're supposed to do. Sorry if I'm commenting or jumping.
No, go ahead.
But same thing as last time. We do our part. We're not the select board. It's up to them to make their decision. You know, you were here, everyone was here, you know. Last time we had other people here, but everyone that wants to be here is here, and you know, we'll see what happens. We don't have anything super outstanding, personally, that I think that would cause any concern, but it's still, after our recommendation, it's in someone else's hands, in 5 people's hands, so it's my only comment.
Actually, it's in the town's hands, then 5 people's hands.
I think it should be known that obviously you all are showing up in support of your families and your homes and, you know, the biggest investment in your life. It's a huge thing. But the people up here and the people on the select board have been elected to do what they think is best for the greatest number of Rutland citizens. I don't think it's ever been a personal thing against you and your neighbors or anything like that. I hate to think that it's been viewed that way at any point. But we are up here simply doing what we think is best for all involved. And I'd like that to be known so that people don't think that we're coming after them personally. This has nothing to do with that.
So thank you for saying that. Thank you, you know, for acknowledging our concerns. Because you said it, and I've been biting my lip and I haven't, I don't think it's personal against residents, right? But what I will say is I think some of it is potentially personal against developer. We watch meetings, we hear certain things. I know that missteps occur, right? And there was some onus on perhaps the town or some things that weren't done. But at the end of the day, the planning board gave the recommendation. Processes were followed, maybe not to the satisfaction, right, of the select board. However, if after going through this again, and I actually feel wild saying this or like not appropriate, but if this does not go in a certain direction, I already have a 4-page Freedom of Information public records request, which goes all the way down to the personal devices of select board, planning board, town administrators, and I'm gonna go that route because I don't think, and Clee, you know I really like you, but there are comments that are made that it is clear that people don't like him. And so when you talk about that level of bias or prejudice, maybe isn't the most appropriate word, I will, you know, we're already worried about our, you know, maintenance from the town, which I know Clee can say I'm out and I'm done. You guys can say it's his responsibility. I've heard 70 million times now that until it's accepted, it is the developer. I get all of that, right? It's not falling. I hear it. But if things don't get cleaned up, even in the terms of some comments that get made in these public meetings, there's a liability on the town because there is disdain for him. It's so awkward to say that in front of him, but that's a fact. I've watched for years. We've been there since 2022. I've gone through the HOA stuff. I've watched the meetings. There are comments that are on public record that are not putting Mr. Blair in a favorable light. So I would compel the planning board, without violating any, if the open meeting law even applies to you, to really impress upon the select board that I presented the 4-page document to the town administrator. And I don't do that as a threat. I don't do it, I'm pretty laid back. I'm not controversial. I lie low. I fly under the radar. But I'm not, this is something that I'm not gonna mess around with, and my patience is low now. So I just need to say that I would really hope that we are moving in the right direction, that does not, I don't wanna hire an attorney. That is not something I wanna do. I do have
Can I-
kids. Yeah.
First off, I appreciate you for trying to be cordial. So I don't know Mr. Blair personally. I've seen his actions in our meetings. I've heard the vile things that are on recording that have been sent to me by townspeople that he has said about our town planner, very derogatory. And I've also been in this town for long enough, only about 2 years now, that nothing that I've heard is good. Now, do I have it out for Clee? No, absolutely not. I don't know him.
you do. Who are you
I
shitting?
have it out for the people of Rutland and their particular best interest. If you want to go to a lawyer and try and get my own personal cell phone records, I would love for you to go ahead and try that. Who gave you that counsel that you'd be able to do that?
Wait, what?
Who gave you the counsel that you would be able to sue us and get our personal phone records?
So if you are sending communications on your personal devices as representatives of the town, and Tamika, I think you are subject to public records. And that is the law that you can look up on your cell phone in 2 seconds. Am I correct about that? Yes. So I am just saying, and again, I don't know you. You might now think I'm not a good person. I don't know.
Not at all.
But what I mean is, it's at the point where we need to, I moved here because I think this town has value. And I think that there are good people. And I wanted to raise my kids here. But if we're impacted by what I say, and this is insulting, and I don't mean to say it, but like small town politics, that's not what I want to do. Like, I feel like I have integrity. And what I meant, and I meant this, and I know it's a recorded meeting, is I didn't submit the records request because I respect people and I feel like I do have integrity and I have faith that this is going to go through, right? But as much as you want to say that maybe he has said vile things about you, there are absolutely things that have been recorded publicly where disparaging comments are made about him. And you can go back in minutes, you can go back, maybe not in minutes, but you could go back and view, right? The meetings are recorded. And I would just say, I don't want to do that. I actually don't have, I would have taken it, I would have handed it and gone over to the appropriate person right then and there that day. I took the time to write it, but I didn't do it. So what I'm saying is, I really hope whatever power you have and whatever work you can do with the select board, that is on the up and up. I respect laws, I respect regulations, I respect people. But I'm just compelling you to not get caught up. And like you said, I value what you said. You were like in moving forward, right? We need to fix things in moving forward. So I'm just asking that that's something that.
I was gonna answer you. I think this piece of this document that we asked for select board and Tamika spent time putting together was the first step, because we had a lot of, let me just say, disconnections in our communications between the two boards. I think this tool that we're gonna get back, because the last time we gave a recommendation, and honestly, the select board didn't ask for anything else. And so then instilled all this discussion back and forth. I think this time around, even though it's a citizen's petition and we're going through the process, we've asked the select board for what are they looking for us? We're gonna give them what I consider a recommendation and a brief of everything that was required from them. I think we've done everything that the planning board can do to, again, I don't wanna say we're accepting it, but we've done everything we can do. And I would instill you to the next select board meeting during public comment, if you've got comments, please go and make your comments. That's my recommendation.
And I do hope you don't know me, you can judge me, that's fine.
Don't do that.
No, but what I mean is, like, when I say I lie low, I lie low. I'm not controversial, I'm not inflammatory, I don't incite things, like that's just not how I was, number one, raised, or how I conduct myself as a professional or in my personal life. But I think what we were saying is we would take steps to make sure that this was done on the up and up and not with some type of bias against a developer. That's my only point. Maybe I went too long-winded, I don't know, but.
Well, through the chair, I wanna say that I'm happy that we've got citizens here, because 9 times out of 10, when these meetings come up, it's 5 members, our recorder, and that's it. That's all we get. So the fact that you've come here, well, if the developer is for a reason, but we've got citizens that are actually involved. Love to hear that, and I think we've got one or two on the TV or on the Zoom too. So I'm just happy that people are involved because 9 times out of 10 it doesn't happen.
And I
So
appreciate the respectful discourse. I mean, I really genuinely do. I appreciate how you presented. I mean, I appreciate that you give your time. I get it. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Speaking of time.
I know, right? I have a child that now I'm being neglectful for.
so
I wanna try to get this thing wrapped up and we have a few more things we gotta get done, so.
My only,
where
my
are
only
we right
comment,
now on this?
my only comment, cause you made a big comment there. Say he doesn't do 4 and it's a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And the select board decides that that's a condition that they won't approve it. You can't be upset about that, or if you're gonna be, then you're not really looking out for the town either. If you wanna sue over, cause he won't pay number 4, these are things that
I already
we.
paid it, though.
No, I know, I'm saying a
I was gonna
hypothetical.
say, yeah.
I got someone saying they wanna sue, get
I
upset.
don't want to sue.
No, let me just try to get it out there so you can interpret it. There are reasons why roads don't get accepted.
Yeah.
You may get upset over it. I mean, if you feel that he doesn't have to pay something, then certainly you can own that. In the town, in certain cases, says that they want requirements. So I mean, you can be upset, you can go as far as you want with it. You gotta kind of look at it and say, who's got the better, who's trying to do better, and I get it. But
I hear
that's as
you.
far as I go, and I'm trying not to take everyone's time up on that. but-
And I do hear you. Can I just speak real quick? I hear
Yeah,
you
you
and I
sure
don't.
can.
For number 4, I think my ask was that within the right of the select board? That was, it. Whether I get upset or not, it was, did you consult with an attorney and is number 4 within their right? So please know, I'm also aware that there is the possibility the road wouldn't get accepted. I worry under which the circumstance it doesn't, right? Is it on the up and up? Are we following the law?
I mean, if we,
Are we making objective decisions is where I'm at.
I guess I was a little offended at the idea. I mean, if you wanna do a public information request,
want
please.
to.
No, I'm just saying, but
Alright.
I know your husband, I believe, and very nice guy. We've had many conversations. I'm sure you and I would greatly get along.
We would.
But I think that the side, and I hope that you can take a step back and realize that the side of the developer that you are seeing is not always the side that we are presented as well. I hear you that everyone deserves their own fair shot, 100%, and there shouldn't be implicit bias, 100%. But there are different
Okay, we
factors.
we gotta move on.
You gotta let me say one quick thing, and I'm not gonna say anything about what he just said, cause he's full of shit. Big thing here is, the planning board did the right thing the last time. You sent a recommendation, you gave them what they asked for, and all of these things that you're talking about tonight, they didn't talk about. Leah and Jen turned down Woodside Ave because grass wasn't growing. I looked back at the meetings, I was there. Grass wasn't growing at the bottom of the hill where there's a little drainage structure. That's why they said no, the 2 of them. 2 guys voted yes on Woodside. And you know why they didn't take Pioneer? Because they didn't take Woodside.
I can't imagine why
It's
anyone would say
crazy.
no to you after how polite you are.
I am not polite. The point is, that's all I wanted to say. The planning board did the right thing last time. They're doing the right thing this time. Everything you're talking about tonight didn't even come up at the selectmen's meeting. They did it on purpose. Done. I'm done.
I think
Let's
what we
move
need to
on.
do is, we need to get this acceptance done, cause we
Right.
still got 7 things to go through.
Yes.
And it's frickin' approaching 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I will leave.
No, don't, we're
No,
not.
no. And you don't have to believe me, but that is, like, we moved to the town. That is not the intent.
I do believe you,
Like,
trust me.
I'm a pretty normal person. I
I'm
know
gonna
that
make a
that's not to say
motion.
You're not, but
Please.
I'm gonna make a motion to accept, or to make a recommendation, favorable recommendation to the select board for Arrowhead Way. With the documents that we've all voted on and motions for these 5 and I say the 7th one, maybe that for the HOA funds to make sure those are squared away.
How about I just say with supporting documentation?
With
Is that
supporting
fair?
documentation, thanks, Tamika, for Arrowhead Way. That's my motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Discussion, please.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to make a quick note. I have no, I'm not opposed to making this recommendation. However, I want to make it made clear that this recommendation is strictly a courtesy to the select board. The only requirement for us to make a recommendation is at the floor of the town meeting.
That's a good point.
Well, okay,
So as a courtesy,
as a courtesy.
Norm?
And
Aye.
vote,
And,
Aye.
for your just, oh, sorry.
okay.
Keith, aye.
Alex.
He's such a grating personality, but yeah, aye.
Norwald, aye.
Williams, aye.
Just, everybody, just, let's get through
There's no
this.
personal
Please,
animus,
next.
no personal animus, she was wrong, right? Absolutely, it doesn't happen.
I'll make
Did I
a-
go against him?
No, easy,
Easy, we got another,
talk time.
I just,
the next one, please.
I'll make a motion, to make a recommendation with supporting documents. Maybe I should take Norm's, Norm, what did you say?
Courtesy.
Courtesy,
As a courtesy.
as a courtesy, recommendation for acceptance with supporting documentation for Woodside Ave.
Second.
And Pioneer, do we do them together?
I was-
Or,
They gotta accept them individually.
okay.
Yep. That's the
Okay.
reason I'm doing a motion for
I'm
each.
sorry, Keith, did you second?
I don't mind seconding it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, motion.
My only discussion is, the idea is at the warrant's closed, there isn't really a recommendation, it's just for their meeting a recommendation.
Right.
It doesn't apply to the, and on the town floor, we recommend
Aren't they
as
having a
well.
meeting on the 22nd about this?
Correct, the public
hearing.
hearings.
It's
portion
hearing,
of
so
this is
our
for-
acceptance with documentation will be presented to them, our courtesy
So
recommendation.
it's not just favorable action, it's acceptance for the road. It's our opinion.
That is
to
favorable
accept.
action.
I think you'd wanna make your decision tonight, that if you're asked for your recommendation on town meeting floor, that you are all in agreement with what you would like to say. And whether or not that's separate from what you're voting on right now.
Let's get through the acceptances and let's
Yeah.
discuss that, because I have an opinion on that, and I think it's my opinion, but I'll let everybody else. So that's my motion, second.
Norm
Second.
can vote first if he wants.
Aye.
Keith, aye.
Aye.
Alex, aye.
Norwald, aye.
Williams, aye.
My third and final
Okay.
motion is everything that I said before, Tamika, except Pioneer Circle. So I don't try to remember what I
Second.
said.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Norm?
Aye.
Keith, aye.
Alex, aye.
Norwald, aye.
Williams, aye.
Now to what Tamika said, Norm, this is something I might need some help on. Typically, we reserve our recommendation, our,
Commented.
what's, our approval, or what's the word I'm looking for? I'm having a
It
break.
is recommendation,
recommendation, I
you mean like on
Yeah.
town meeting floor?
Yeah.
On the town meeting floor, do we typically do that at our meeting, or do we vote that during the town meeting? When we open up our hearings?
We would normally do that at a regular meeting that we have.
Okay, I couldn't
Which
remember.
would be the 22nd, or whenever that is.
I guess I will make a motion, I'm gonna say for all three, since we've all approved all three, that the planning board makes a favorable recommendation on the citizens petition for Woodside Ave, Pioneer Circle, and Arrowhead Way at the town meeting. And that gets passed on to the select board of our intentions.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. No, pardon?
Norm, aye.
Keith, aye.
Norwald, aye.
Williams, aye.
Give him a second, he'll be back. We can hold off for 2 minutes. Tick tock.
Tim, can is it okay if I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
Just from a staff member perspective, I think that sometimes when people are frustrated, and I understand that, I think sometimes they forget that for the staff, this is our livelihood. And so sometimes it causes us a great bit of angst when we seem to get pulled into the discord that's happening with the business of the town. And, you know, I can say, I'm only one person, and I'm trying my very best to be the go-between for the planning board and the select
I
board.
don't need you involved in
In
this.
addition to all of my other responsibilities, and
Thank you.
I have somehow been dragged into this FOIA request, and I'm feeling very defeated.
What, Dick, I'm probably out of line. What,
I know what you're going.
help me out, cause I thought when Norm and I was at the select board meeting that we were just trying to make it between the select board and the planning board discussion point. If you got drug into that, that is not the
Well, the
intent.
staff, I think, is inadvertently being drug in by the residents and are now being put in an uncomfortable position.
Mr. TA, I don't know how to handle
True
that.
statement.
Very true statement.
Yep. It's quite
Happened with
obvious.
Arrowhead and all that with our department. I unfortunately had to have Lynn do, how many FOIA requests were they? 6, 7? And it was just amazing on that. And no offense to your board, okay, but you guys directed them to me.
Those assholes.
Believe me, I've been doing this a long time, so it didn't bother me, but it just, unfortunately, Lynn and Tamika have absolutely no time to even have a lunch 3/4 of the time. And Seth will back this up, I do believe. And so, you know, I agree with you what you're saying. I hope I'm not out of line through the chair. I agree 100% what you're doing, because Lynn was really upset too. And it wasn't an upset like, oh my, it's like, what the heck? And I think that's the
Yes,
correct
because
answer.
we've been said that we will be subject to the FOIA request that Mrs. Murphy mentioned for all of our personal cell phone messages and emails, and
I have an illegal opinion on that, but I'll
it's
keep it
just
quiet.
very, it's been exhausting for the staff
Yeah.
through all of this process, and we try our best to stay neutral and do the best for everybody, and we get the residents in our office, and we get the emails, and we get the phone calls, and I'm here at all of the meetings, and I'm trying to help out with the lack of a town planner. So then to feel like the staff is now having their livelihoods affected is very, very stressful. So I appreciate, thank you for letting me just say that.
No,
Just good, I'm glad
Thank you,
that
Tamika.
you get it off your shoulders, please. That's good.
all right.
Alex,
Looking for a vote, just
we're
on.
looking for a vote. The rest of us have already voted.
It's for the,
Complete.
On the floor.
it's on the floor for,
Favorable recommendation.
favorable recommendation.
Yeah.
And it's already been seconded?
Oh, it's already
It's already been voted except for you.
Aye.
Okay, aye, he said.
5-0.
Okay.
I guess
All right,
Dick,
on
since
that,
that's taken care of,
yes.
I have to comment on Tamika's thing. How do we as a board, because again, I'm gonna make my opinion, TA's here to hear it. I am sick and tired of two boards fighting. That's that damn thing that's been going on. I heard it from the residents. I'm tired of it. Because it seems like every time we make a decision, and again, we're not perfect. I get that. We've made mistakes. I'll admit I've made mistakes. But constantly being pointed out and the planning board always seemed to be, and this is my opinion, the blame for everything in this town. I'm tired of it. I am personally tired of it. We either work together as a select board and planning board, or we separate and this becomes all out war. That's gonna be the two choices. So either the chairman and our chairman work together like we tried to do at the select board meeting, or this is just gonna be a match that's not gonna be won by anybody. Everybody's gonna lose. So my suggestion is that our two boards work together, and that'll keep the flack, hopefully as much flack as possible, off of the staff. That's all I can suggest. I think we've tried to do that by Norm and I showing up to a meeting that we weren't invited for. That I gotta tell you, and this is to the board, and not direct to you, Tamika. I'm frustrated that we have to read agendas and get invited to meetings where the planning board is being discussed by the select board. I'm tired of it. And I'm putting it at, Leah's here, she can hear it, I'm tired of it. If they're gonna talk about something to planning board, by God, pick the phone up and call the chairman. I'm not gonna hear this excuse, you should read the agenda on the website. No, pick the phone up, have a personal conversation, something with the chairman of the board. That's what we're here for, that's what we're elected for. That's it, enough said for me.
Thank
A
you.
really quick comment to Tamika. I genuinely was sitting here thinking like, wow, you are just kicking butt. Like this whole situation, I don't think would be possible without you involved. You have done a very good job from my point of view, conducting all of this and making sure that everybody has the proper communication, the proper legal terms, whatever we need to hear. And I truly have been very impressed. And I know that that doesn't take off the weight, but I think that deserves recognition for every single person to hear.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I can't say enough of how you helped us out.
Yeah.
And I'm trying my best to get through the October 14th minutes. Keith did drop off the recording to me, just to clarify. It's like an audio recording.
It's tough.
There's no visual recording from the meeting, and the audio is not great. Not Keith's fault, it just is what it is. And I just only have so many hours in the day, and knowing that the board was gonna be taking new motions tonight, it just was not as much of a priority. But I pride myself on making sure that we have minutes at every single meeting to approve and post on the website. So I
We'll
have to
take
say
that,
I'm trying my best.
Tamika, I understand the frustration, but if I look at the last 2 or 3 years you've been helping us on the board, I have nothing but praise about
You
getting out our minutes and keeping us out of trouble. So I understand the one meeting, okay, great. Listen, I know Seth has heard this. That's gotta be fixed, and there better not be any more damn problems. I'm getting tired of this. This is an IT situation that can be solved. If we got a problem with charter, get them on the freaking horn and get them in here. That's my opinion, because I can't afford to find out when Norman Adder's select board meeting, finding out that our minutes and that meeting wasn't recorded. That's the first time we heard about it.
Yeah.
We looked at each other going, what the hell? So I really appreciate all you've done. That's for me. And our technical issues we gotta solve. And I understand frustration with the residents, but in the long term, I consider one meeting not even a reflection on the duties that you've done for us. So please take from me.
Okay.
I have nothing, and I'll say it, he's here. RDIC appreciates everything too.
Can I say something real quick, Lisa?
Very quick.
Yeah, I appreciate everything that you are doing. My husband would have liked to have been here. We wanna make sure that, like, we didn't want the road to be accepted if there were problems. So, but we didn't hear, like, we didn't come to the meeting for the vote, cause we just didn't think, there were gonna be any issues, the road wouldn't get accepted. But I appreciate that you were looking out for our best interest. Because just because I built a house that a certain construction firm did, doesn't mean that I'm best friends with them. I question two things that were done and weren't done. But I do value that you are looking out to make sure that things are done properly. Cause even I question things that you brought up and questioned too. Like, why don't we have granite curbs like around our sewer drains like they do? Like, why are they there but not there? Things like that, I question things like that.
It's because we have different DPW directors over the years and it gets changed every year.
Yeah, no, but I appreciate, and I do know that, and this meeting here versus the select board is where, cause I wanna know, if they're not accepting what's wrong. Nobody told us what's wrong.
Right.
Cause if there are problems, we want them fixed.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, let's get back to 3. We have 3 and 4, I think, left to go.
Oh, we got the whole backside then.
No.
We've done 3 out of 11.
Errol, thank you.
Fairness,
I'm sorry,
the last
13.
items, we can always push to another agenda.
Yeah. I'd like to
we
just
wanna
get,
prioritize.
Dick, I think if we get through 3 and 4, the rest of the stuff is, the reduced bonds, I think we can push that.
We can't, only because we have to make a decision within 45 days.
Okay, then that's gotta be done. So we gotta get
3, 4,
4, and
6.
6.
And if
3,
I
4,
can
and 6.
personally request number 8, cause I have to get back to CMRPC on that.
Please, oh, man.
All right,
I think some of them will be shorter than
It's
others.
so demanding.
I know,
go ahead.
Just keep me in the loop on the stormwater management. I'd be more than happy to kind of chime in on a couple things here. I got a little bit of knowledge on that, and maybe we can get something going.
I think, Harold, we need to have a meeting with you, Chris,
And the new-
and
and the new-
Michelle Danza, she's the chairman of the,
No, yeah, you
Melissa Danza, the
Melissa.
Concon. She needs to
Yeah,
be
I think
involved in that.
it'd probably behoove us when you get your planner also.
Yes, oh
Keep
yeah.
them in, him or her in there, and we'll.
Yeah,
go from there.
yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much, it's a
Okay.
pleasure, I gotta go home.
Thanks.
Very good.
Thank you, Harold.
You can
Request an
stay till
extension
10
on
if
the
you
bond
want.
reduction.
Oh, no, I had enough meeting.
Can we give it, can
I give an extension on the
extend
bond
the
reduction
45
stuff if you
days?
want?
If you can send it to me in writing,
I'll send it to you tomorrow,
Yeah,
an
okay.
email.
And we'll
That way you
take,
don't have to deal with that shit tonight.
Good, thank you.
let's get back to 3, that's gonna be the big one.
All right.
What,
This is in
hold on one
reference.
second. Tamika, what was that, what was the subdivisions?
it was Brice, Brintnal, and Bear Hill 2, right? I think.
That was the reduction, and then I needed a bond amount for phase 4,
Correct.
so that I can set the.
And we did send that to Kevin, and Kevin is working on it. But when I read the MGL, it said the board either had to deny and give reasons for it or approve it within the 45 days, otherwise it's constructively approved. So with the holidays and everything else,
You have an extension.
we were trying to, okay.
Extension to when? When do you want it?
Yeah,
Mid-January?
Yeah, give us the,
Yeah,
it's the, our,
January 13th,
You got it.
perfect,
and then that gives Kevin some more time too.
Okay,
no problem.
Good.
Thank you.
all right.
let's get to 3, let's get this one, I'll get this one done.
Go ahead. I have no,
The enforcement action for Brice Estates and Bear Hill 2. Help me out with, let me get to my packet,
Is there enforcement action on that?
that's what I was looking for.
Nothing that you need to take action tonight with.
Thank you.
This is more if it fails.
Oh, okay. Got it, yeah. I think we need to take this letter, Dick, and, Seth, is this something that we just need to hand out and have at our tips in case, or how,
So everyone's asking about the plowing of the road.
correct,
And, please clearly say that he will not plow, and he has every right to do so. I'm just trying to bring this to your attention,
yeah,
in that the select board, the town administrator's office, the building inspector can take no action on this. The only enforcement authority is the planning board to take action on that particular item. And then whatever action you decide
mhm,
could be passed on to the building inspector.
I mean, I did read it, I think it came through an email already, I mean, I have an opinion on it, but it's not,
This is regarding the plowing.
I don't know if you want me to legally state how I feel, or
I
not.
mean, they're your rules and regulations, they're your orders and conditions.
I'll just
of the
leave it to the
subdivision.
board to hear what I say, and that's up to anyone else to discuss, comment, or just hear it as a point. Clea and George are here, like I was mentioning to the woman, there's 2 boards that go with approving the road. There's the planning board and the select board. I know, Clea, you mentioned a couple times that, because the planning board approved last meeting that, that's at least, 50% down the field to say, these roads are worth accepting. I'm not sure why the select board didn't accept them. This is my opinion. Unfortunately, we don't control them in their opinion. So if they stop it, to me, if we get, an ask that we're not gonna go near plowing from you, we still, if I'm wording it right, we still gotta ask you to plow, even though you don't want to. And it's just part of how this works if the road doesn't get accepted. I'm sure it will. But I have no problem just saying, hey, this is an enforcement letter, we'd like you to abide by it.
Okay, but can I comment?
Yeah, you can comment on
Wait
it.
till we get the enforcement letter and then we can respond.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say
I don't know if
review
this
it and
is
then
it
come back with
officially.
comments.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is it officially. It's my opinion, it's not the board's opinion. You can tell me what your legal thought is too, and it can just be out in the open.
There's no
If you want.
enforcement issue here.
Yes.
It's the town administrator's office asking the planning board.
Yeah, to take
There's no
action.
enforcement being
No,
pushed on
right.
anyone.
So this
That's
is
why-
just, this
Just
is
a recommendation from us
Yes.
to them to
That's
look
why I
at what
wasn't
they
sure if-
have and their rules
No,
and
no,
regulations.
this
take action,
letter
that's all.
is the TA's asking the planning board to, if it comes to this,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
this is our action that they would like to recommend to us to do.
Yeah.
And that's up to us to make the call if we're gonna do
Correct.
it.
Right.
Yep, and I gave my opinion, so that's kind of where I'm at. You know,
Yeah.
we can't control a select board. But if we
Well, they
have.
don't get an opinion on this.
No, I know, and that's why a road can get denied even though a planning board can approve it. At the time, it doesn't mean that that's in play now, but obviously there's
Let
a,
them play this little power game, this is fun.
I guess.
yeah.
Dick, through
It's
you,
just
I'll-
silly, it's just
It's
stuff
silly,
we have to go
I know,
through,
I
I
got it. I'm
apologize.
not- Right, I got it, man, I'm
Yeah, I
not.
apologize,
No,
yeah,
it's a
but it's just something we.
I'm not sure I'm asking us to, but there is an HOA in place. Can that HOA money be used to take care of the plowing?
You can, I would probably recommend you have council review the HOA docs.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm just, again, I'm not an attorney, I'm just asking.
No, I
because
know, it's just that I'm not gonna, yeah, it just,
I'm just trying to come up with solutions, so, because this is pretty severe.
I understand. I mean, I'm gonna reserve our rights. It's funny that select board won't follow your recommendations, but they want you to follow their recommendations.
I would tell them,
Say, listen, I'm gonna do exactly with,
If I were you.
with this, what you did with ours in October.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm just,
it's
I'm
a
a
huge
Plan B.
lawsuit, let's put it this way.
I'm a Plan B
huge
and C
lawsuit.
guy. I like to have
Right,
Plan
get
B
there.
and C.
I'm hoping,
That's
yeah,
it.
yep,
I appreciate Seth that
yeah,
put
I
this
appreciate
together.
it too. We'll just keep that,
And,
but
maybe with any blessing, we'll have no snow and no
Amen.
need to worry about this.
But there are
Absolutely
people
not.
who live here that are very worried about this.
Right, so
Very worried. That's the whole point of this. This is happening we already had a storm and we had no idea what was gonna happen till 5 p.m. the night before. This is a huge worry. So like, we can't just sit here and be like, please no snow. We live in Massachusetts, right? So it
Well,
is
if
a
it
big
comes to
worry.
snow, we'll be forced to use this then if it's not plowed. I mean,
Right.
that's my opinion to the board. I don't really wanna get into this, but if we have to, we have to.
yeah, our hand is forced.
Yeah.
Really, so you think it's fair?
just let them do what they have to
Yeah.
do.
What you gotta
And
do.
then we do what we
Yeah,
We'll
do.
go to court, we'll see you there.
Yeah, again, I honestly said that, through the chair, as legal counsel, KP's been on board with this. That was my only question, because I wanted to make sure we had some backing before we do anything, because I don't want a letter and then we make action and we don't have legal backing. So if we do and you guys have been to legal counsel, then we'll have to worry about when it comes. But let me ask a question, do we have in place a plan?
Yes.
If it does snow,
Yep.
we as a town will take care of our residents, and then chips fall where they may with this and any type of back charges.
I think from the town administrator's office and the select board's concern is we don't wanna create a situation of past practice that in the future subdivisions think they can skirt
Yes,
the
no,
rules and
no.
regulations.
What we're talking about now is an exception to the rule, it's not the rule.
Correct?
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Cause last thing you wanna do is create again, I'm having a precedent. You don't want this to become a precedent, because as we know, we've got 26 or so roads that are precedents, that are private, that are being plowed as decided in 2018 by the select board at that time. So, okay, good enough. I think that takes care of 3, right?
Okay. That's good.
Take care of 3.
I think I'm leaving.
And I have here,
It's because it's a prison.
is this part of?
Do we have to submit any acknowledgement for this? Okay, it just says please confirm, I just wanna make sure.
All right,
In the minutes, and we can
number
consider that
4, we're gonna do
confirmation.
number 4 quickly. Michelle, would you be so kind as to read this to us?
What is it? Oh, this letter?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Yeah. This is a letter to the Rutland Planning Board from the Rutland Historical Commission. We would like to confirm that per our site visit on 12/6/25, it appears the stone wall has been extended 5 feet and the approximately 50 stones have been added as requested. While our requests have been satisfied, we would like to make note that in the future, the small stones, known as chinking stones, should be 2 to 6 inches in size and irregular shaped, not long and skinny. Historically, these stones were used to fill in gaps between larger field stones to stabilize the wall and prevent the bigger stones from shifting. The field stones themselves should be what are traditionally known as two-handers, referring to stones that can be lifted in place by 2 hands, not machinery. Following the steps outlined in the Scenic Road bylaw will help reduce inaccuracies like this in the future. Once these historic walls are dismantled, the original craftsmanship cannot be recreated exactly. These stone walls create microhabitats that support amphibians, small mammals, insects, and mosses. They function as wildlife corridors. They are iconic to New England landscape and help maintain the scenic rural character of our town. They create a sense of place and continuity with the region's past. In order to disincentivize the haphazard destruction of stone walls on scenic roads going forward, we strongly request that fines be issued from date of infraction until date of notification that the wall has been completed. Sincerely, the Rutland Historical Commission.
Thank you.
Okay. And to the best of my knowledge, the fines have been paid?
I don't think so at all.
Yes, please.
I'm more concerned that all the documentation's in, the drawings are in, the as-built or whatever, that's
Yeah.
all in. Have you guys seen that?
Yes, we met the other day, at the site, and we agreed that it was not as aesthetically accurate as we would like, but it fit the, what do you call it?
Character.
Not so much the character, it was attempted to
The
be
intent-
done.
the
It
intent
was-
of trying
the
to do it.
intent, yes, the intent was there and we recognize that the work was done with intent. So we're fine with it. We would actually prefer that they not be disturbed at all if possible. Like just leave the wall alone when you're clearing the rest of the land.
And there's supposed to be documentation for that, and if I'm correct, are you guys
We are
documenting the
working, yes,
roads?
we are gonna be documenting the roads, it snowed recently, but when there's no snow, we will be videotaping the road, so we have an accurate description of all of the scenic byways in town.
Very good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So let's get to the next portion.
So I was gonna say, what Tamika provided as a proposed motion, I think makes sense about the violations resolved pending guidance from town council about the fines portion of it, since we don't have an answer on that at the moment, I don't believe.
That is.
And I paid what Delia asked. It makes any difference.
Minor
It's highlighted green, but helps you find it.
I know, I'm just thinking about it.
I don't see it here. Shit.
Yeah,
Do you want,
Yeah, I don't.
it's the,
With saying pending guidance from town council regarding the compensatory fines, that would leave it open for us to still collect those fines and determine them.
I would recommend that when you
Okay,
send
then
out.
I would have, I'll make that motion. Are we ready for a motion?
Let's Dick and I finished reading this. Okay. Compensatory fines. This doesn't give me any information. Cause weren't we debating on when it was the word?
Yeah.
That's the question that the board had asked that we ask of town council.
Yeah.
So we did send them that. We do not yet, they confirmed it, but we do not yet have a response from them. So that's
Then-
why we left the vote contingent.
I would wait for
Or you
town
can
council
choose
to
not
come
to.
back before I do any motions, that's my opinion. I really wanna hear what town council has to say, because we were debating between, to what Alex said, of when it was actually taken down and to when the notification was. And that in-between phase is where I wanted town council to tell me go or no go. That's what I really wanted to know.
There is a really complicated statutory procedure for collection of these fines. So I'm just letting you know, and one of the things you probably should let town council know is that you've already formally assessed the fine and it's been paid. There's gonna be.
I don't believe
gonna
that's
happen.
accurate
There's
at
two
all.
different components of the fine and the way that.
Just let the
bylaws
town
are
council
written.
know, at least let them know what the whole facts, so they know this, because
I
collection of these
assume
fines
that's
are
how
very,
we ask them, yeah.
well, do they know that he paid money?
Yes, yeah,
We
yeah,
have
there's,
records,
Town
there's
council
an,
know
yes,
that. Okay,
yes,
that's
yeah, we
fine.
have it, it's all in the records, and there's an initial fine for the initial sort of infraction, and then there are ongoing fines until it's restored to satisfaction. So we're just trying to gather from them kind of what that time period is, so that we can make sure we know what we're doing.
And I think that by making this motion now, Tim, to declare that the violation was resolved pending the guidance, we kind of stop that clock so that we don't have to fight over when the fines go to. If the wall's fixed, the fines are done.
Okay.
And
That's what I thought you were gonna do it for a number, I'm fine with the motion for saying.
but we still have to figure out what that fine number is, but as far as do the fines continue to roll past this point, the historical commission has said that it's acceptable to them. I think the fines stop at this point, and we'll let KP Law tell us.
What date was that when you?
On that date, she's got a, she-
Saturday's date?
Tamika has that slip.
Oh, you got it? So it was like the sixth, December sixth, that Saturday?
This past Saturday, yeah, was when it was.
Okay, I'm good with that. I'm sorry. Alex, I thought we were gonna come up with the money and I'm going like,
Oh, no,
nah.
no,
No,
not right
KP
now.
Laws.
Yeah.
figured that part out.
Cool, I'm good, go ahead.
All right.
Alright, so, do you want me to do it? I move to declare the Stonewall violation resolved pending guidance from town council regarding the compensatory fines.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Those in favor?
Oh, put December sixth in there, just to make sure you got the date of when it was resolved.
Okay, then an addendum, I move to declare the Stonewall violation resolved on December sixth pending guidance from town council regarding the compensatory fines.
Alright,
Second?
Second, I'll second that.
okay.
You got any more stuff on there for me?
So,
No,
You were good enough to push the bonds, right?
We pushed the bonds.
Alright, then we should be all set.
yeah.
your vote, Norm?
Aye.
Keith?
Narwhal, aye.
Alex, aye.
Heath,
Alex, aye.
Williams, aye. All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, we got through 3, 4, 5, 6 has been deferred. 7, I think we should spend the rest of the day and tomorrow on this now. I'm kidding, I'm joking.
I think 8 is the only one that we feel is time sensitive, if I'm.
Yeah, can I have a 5 minutes with Janet in a private room? Cause I think we paid for this 5 times over.
Yes, I, because I had.
But to get that for 5 hours, Dick, I think we've got 14 in the bank. Let's just give them the 5 hours and get us that map.
So,
I'll make a motion to,
the good news is the map is done, and we're about a couple days away from having the final version of it. I've asked from CMRPC for a large map that we can have for the planning office as well as the assessor's office, and then we have the ability to print 11 by 17s. I think what took more time is there was a bit of back and forth between CMRPC and the town clerk's office. There was a lot of questions, there was clarifications, there was new subdivisions, there was Harmony Place. There was a lot that went back and forth. So these 5 hours are actually to compensate for work that was already done. The project is essentially done at this point.
and they'll provide you a PDF, so that beautiful
Yes,
printer that we have over in the police department, we can
Reprint it.
print multiple
we
large
have one in
size.
our building.
And we could
Yes.
use that too to
But I'm
print.
having CMRPC provide us with the
Oh,
large
yes,
ones
we should,
as
yeah.
part of that.
An
So
extra one.
they're
But if
gonna
we need
provide us
extra
with the big
ones,
ones, but
yeah.
yes, we could always print more if we
Beautiful.
needed to. And then once I get Matt's gonna send me a version that literally says final on it, and then we will also post that to the website, so that people can go on and take a look at it. And actually, the second grade students at Naquag use it, and so I just printed out some copies for them, cause they put it in their Rutland books. books and they all find their address on the map.
That's cool.
And that becomes part of their book. So I actually just gave those to Lynn Jordan last week.
My
So
God.
she was very happy with
I'll
that.
make a,
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll make a-
Samson's teacher.
I'll make a motion, to have Norm sign the appropriate forms to allow CMRPC to use 5 additional hours from LPA to finish the street maps.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, and thank God I heard all the voices, then I will not say what I had here.
No, we're this close. There's just one road on there that they have to renumber that Ben caught on the map today. But I just talked to them today, and so I anticipate by probably the end of this week, I'll have the final version to send out to everybody.
Has he left yet?
That's great.
I don't wanna
Okay,
take Karen away, but would they
motion been made and
have to
seconded.
take Karen away?
Narwhal, aye?
Norm,
Nor am I.
Keith, I.
Alex, I.
Williams, aye. Now, if we only can get the other two.
Adjourn.
No, I gotta say something real quick. I unfortunately Clee's left, but subdivision oversight, we don't have to get into it. But at the end of Grizzly, where it meets Brintnal, is a bus stop. And I have pictures of all this, but there are concrete blocks that he uses to make the roadway, I would assume, probably weigh about 800 pounds apiece. And they are stacked, not all one on top of each other. There's one I have a picture of that's on a corner, and it's a bus stop. If some kid starts messing around with that, they're gonna get crushed. And I need him to fix that now, because the kids are all congregating right there.
I can tell you, Alex, what those were used for was the crossings. And if the crossings are all done in Brice Lemon, then the answer is exactly what Keith said, get the low boy in there, load him up and get him out of there.
I don't care how it gets taken care of, it needs to happen.
Brintnal Estates, not Brice Lemon.
Oh, it's
It's Brintnal Estates.
Brindle Estates, yeah, at the end, right before
Even
it
if
goes
he's
in.
still using them, I need them to be stacked one on top of the other, cause some kid is gonna climb on
They
it.
need to be stabilized.
Yeah, it's so dangerous.
Okay. Doesn't look good.
The sites are garbage, but that is,
No, but
that
the
is a
blocks,
liability.
the
I'd ask through, Dick, can we have Tamika just write him a memo and saying, we're requiring for job site safety, please, get the, bricks into a safe.
Blocks, yeah.
Blocks into a safe order, cause right now the planning board's concerned of danger to, individual citizens.
Do you have a deadline date?
Yeah, tomorrow.
I'm kidding. It's Friday,
Okay.
seriously.
Yeah.
Kids are there every single
Yeah,
day.
because of the
It's-
kids.
It's crazy.
Let's not screw around.
I think to your point, Alex, just for the monthly reports, I don't know. Again, in my job, I have to do monthly reports if there's nothing going on every job I'm working on. And I know Norm had a good point when there's a job that's going on for 2 years and nothing's going on. It's sort of redundant, but I'm getting to the point now that just because of what's going on in my company, that I believe we should at least, I don't care if the monthly report says no action or nothing going on, just put it in the file, send it electronically, and we'll have folders with the different job sites with monthly reports in them. That's my opinion.
And also, when it comes time to renewing the permit or what have you, if there has to be activity and there's been no documented activity, we can say, well, what's going on? What's up with these reports? Why haven't we gotten a report? It's how we know what's going on, and it's how we document what is being told
I'm
us.
okay with that. I don't know what the rest of the board thinks. Norm?
Do we want those reports from the builder, or do we want the reports from our engineer? The thing is, if we want the reports from the builder, we're gonna end up with the same thing, having to ask, I'm sure. Okay, if we have it from, coming from our engineer, I am pretty sure he's certainly willing to, do, even if it's, a dozen reports. Nothing happened.
Well, I think you want it from a third party anyways.
Yeah, Norm, I don't have a problem if Kevin just, it's coming out of our fund some way, but that way we got
It
documentation.
comes from the 53G account.
Well, that's what I
It
meant.
comes from you guys.
Well, no, that's what I meant. It
Oh,
comes from,
sorry, I
it
thought
comes
you
from
meant
an
your revolving
account,
fund.
but it's gotta be funded and, in the past, we just haven't done it. I think you know,
Would you
just
like
from
me
what
to-
I've learned in my career, I'd rather have something than nothing.
Would you like me to reach out to Kevin on behalf of the board and just